Okay. Why? Why? Always. Hello? Can anybody hear me? Oh, okay. Hi everybody. Oh no. My description, hold up, it got deleted. Hold up. Oh no. Hang on. Okay. Ah, why does this always happen? The mic sounds better now, right? Okay, good. Spoilers. Be sure to read rules. FAQ. For some reason, YouTube started a whole new stream. That's weird. That's not what I wanted, but, okay. We're live now, right? Good. Welcome, everyone. I'm mad that YouTube just straight up, like, hold on. I don't know if I can fix it right now, but I can try. I don't know. No, I can't. Okay, well, that's fine. We're here now. If you have not watched Dragon's Rising Part 2, you probably should, because we're gonna go in depth on a lot of stuff today. Oh boy. Alright. I'm gonna just say this stuff right now. First things first. I do not care if Clipstudio Paint crashes while the stream's happening. I do not care if Streamlabs crashes. If anything crashes, I'm gonna just boot it back up and keep going. Because I have things to say, and I do not want to stop until I say it. And I don't care if the stream crashes, I'm gonna boot it back up, alright? I'm literally just going to start a new stream and start all over again. Or, not all over again, but like start up again. I ain't quitting. The thoughts must come out, yep. Okay. So, I've got a lot to share. I have my notes right here. I've got some water. Because I know I'm going to be talking a lot on this stream, so if you find my voice annoying, I apologize. But I really have a lot to say right now. Hold on. Let me check something. Give me 1 second. Okay. I think we're still alive. Alright. Okay. Let's just get down to business, alright? I also have to leave a little earlier. I'd like the stream to be done at like 3, maybe 3:30, because I'm gonna go actually hang out with some friends over the weekend. So, I literally have to leave as soon as the stream is done. So I like to get everything out the way. So, alright, first things first, headshots. Let me show you guys what I have got going on. I put up Lloyd for like no spoilers. So, no. So, first things first, there are some headshots that I've already finished off camera, and there will be headshots that I'm going to work on in advance in this stream. First one is Mr. Frohickey the Frogman. At first I thought he wasn't going to be a major character, so I didn't think I need to make a headshot of him, but it turns out he's a character now, so. And you know what? I don't care if people think this is a hot take or a weird take. I actually really like him. I like he probably was the most entertaining character in all of part 2. Which is saying something, because even the main cast has got some things that, you know, I've got some notes. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. So we have Mr. Frohickey. Then we have the temple sprite spirit thing person. Brother looks like he's gonna speak for the trees. I don't know why his design looks like this, but you know, it's alright. It's cool. He did just, like, he is responsible for dropping the most insane, massive bombshell this show has ever seen this side of the Mississippi, but, you know, we'll get to that. We'll talk about that as well. So there's that. We have Eric Hoare the Djinn, the new Djinn guy, which I also have notes on, but again, we will talk about him when the time comes. Let me, hold on. Whoa, my headphones work. Okay. I've got like 2 headphones going on, one with my music and one that has like the stream playback, so I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. And I want to make sure the music sounds relatively fine. Next we have Gio, which this is a headshot that I will be working on stream, the Master of Fusion, and I'll talk about him when the time comes. These next 2 headshots I'm not going to show because that's kind of spoilers, but I will show you guys what it is. Let me see. Then we have Mr. Allen, who's literally just a guy. Agent Underwood, who's like an OG Serpentine, I guess. Emperor Levo and Empress Beatrix. No, Zeatrix. My bad. Gosh, their names are the same. Levo and Zeatrix. And small little detail. I gave them hexagons in their eyes because I guess they have like hexagon elemental powers. I don't know what the power is, and I'm gonna be completely blunt with you guys. I do not care. I don't care why they have elemental powers, or even what the powers are. Their elemental powers are designed by Hexbug or something. I don't know. I don't really know. Well, I'm gonna have to draw them eventually. And then Jordana, whom I literally forgot her name. I genuinely did not know her name in part 1, and I did not know her name in part 2. Only until like Willow Rowe just randomly was like, Jordana. I was like, that's her name? What? She's like a Walmart off-brand version of Stella, and I don't know, man. I may as well just get into my notes to explain why I feel the way I do, but oh boy. Let's get down to business. Let me go to Geo. Do I have an image of him in here? I feel like I do. Yep. Okay. Cool. Mr. Geo. He's also a mixed kid like me. Although him being mixed raises several questions about the lore, but you know what? This whole part raises several questions. So here we go. Let me look at my notes. I apologize if I don't see the stream chat right now, because I really need to get these thoughts out the way. I want to like say my thoughts and explain my thoughts as best I can, so that if anyone rewatches the stream, well, they're not super confused and they're not bored like waiting for me to explain. I just want to get to the point. I rewatched my last stream and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so slow to talk. Get to the point. I don't know, man. I also don't like hearing myself talk. It's a weird... Anyway. Jitters. I got the jitters. Let's just get into this. So, part 2. Actually, hold up. Let's do this. What did you guys think of part 2? I gotta make a poll. I'm gonna put like great, meh, and then like trash, but not in a mean way. Let me know if you guys see the poll. I put trash, but not in a mean way because, my gosh, the internet is so divided on this show. It's insane. There's people who are like praising this show to the heavens above and are like, it's so good, it's as good as the OD trilogy. And then there's people that's like, this show is the worst thing in the world. It gave my firstborn cancer and I hate it. And I'm like, gosh, you guys. Like, oh my gosh. It was to the point where I'm so nervous to talk about my feelings about this show. Because I do not want to offend anybody, but at the same time, I don't want to fake my feelings. I don't want to be the kind of person that, like, can't share my full thoughts on something because, you know, oh, I'm a people pleaser, that kind of thing. I don't like doing that. Yeah, people can over-exaggerate, and I can see that. But when it comes to the internet, like, that stuff, it stays on the internet. Doesn't that scare you into, like, not being so overt? I don't know. If you're going to be overt, maybe, like, have, like, better reasoning or something. Like, I saw a whole argument go down of people who hated Sora and Wildfire and Euphrasia because they were women. And I was like, what kind of an argument is that? Dude, if you're gonna dislike a character, dislike them because their character is written poorly, not because they're women. What kind of an argument is that? It was so stupid. Well, either way, okay. What are my 2 cents on the show? I'm indifferent. Like, I don't know how to feel. It's a weird conundrum. I have been feeling so mentally drained from experiencing the show and witnessing what everybody is saying on the show that I'm scared. I'm terrified, man. I know this is supposed to be just a silly cartoon show, and I understand that, but gosh, like, it becomes a lot sometimes. It becomes a lot to take in. Okay, so let's just get down to business and talk about part 2. Actually, you know what? I can't start yet because there's something else I need to say. Part 1. I was rewatching part 1 earlier, and I found some problems with the plot to the point where it's like you'd have to rewrite the story from the ground up in order to fix said issues. It's not the best. Like, first of all, this is what I normally do when I watch something, by the way. I usually watch it, I try to enjoy it, and then after I watch it, I, like, get all retrospective and think about what I just watched. And, you know, most of the time when that happens, I stumble upon some things, and then I'm like, wait a minute, and then it kind of, like, it's a weird experience. But either way, that's what happened with part 1. I found some things. The biggest things being, why didn't Lloyd, like, find the basement, the Imperium Monastery earlier? Why? Does anybody else know what the reason for that is? Like, what's it, if you need the ghost of Master Wu to show up in order to bring you to the Monastery Imperium basement thing, why didn't he? Like, Zane is down there. wouldn't that be like crucial information to, like, why wait until the literal last minute? Even in death, this man freaking withholds information. And I'm also not saying he's dead, but like, well, he could be. We don't know. Yeah. I was like, dang it. That means Zane could have joined the fight a lot earlier in the plot. And we'd also discover the basement of Imperium a lot earlier into the plot. So that's not very good. The second thing I realized is the whole Photek situation. Why didn't Dr. LaRoe just stop child Sora from leaving? If Sora has an invention that will literally help Imperium capture dragons, the very thing they're known for, why wouldn't she stop her? Why would she just let her leave? And considering the fact that she's a scumbag, I don't think it's against her character to want to keep a child against her will and force her to activate Photex. And the whole thing of her being like, I knew you would return on your own. Dog, it's been years! I'm sure the Empress is mad at you now because you're like, you have been stalling. We could have had the most powerful arsenal of capturing dragons in our possession today, and you've been waiting years for some kid to decide to come back? She didn't even want to come back. Goofy. Silly. This would mean that Sora would literally be, I don't know, a wanted convict of some kind. Like, Imperium would be trying to go after her, which doesn't happen in the show. There's a lot of things that would end up being changed because of these seemingly small details. And I'm like, oh no. Not again. Why do we keep doing this? Why does this keep happening? Why does this show keep having problems? And, like, the thing is, you could fix the problems, but it'll take you a while. Frankly, I don't really feel that invested to want to fix it. I am so tired. Woo's been drinking tea in a limbo? Yeah, sure. Sure. I'm gonna end the poll, by the way. We've got 20 votes in here, so I feel like that's enough. But Ro's just been sipping tea, and then he's like, oh, right, I'm relevant to the plot now. Better go get him. Gee. That seems rather silly, but welcome to Ninjago, I guess. MP, I'm real. And, like, this is a new show, right? These are new writers on, like, the set. I get that past Ninjago has had problems similar to this, but can't you, like, strive to do better? Honestly, I'd rather watch old Ninjago over this one, because at least back then, you could blame time, or it was just for the time stuff on the writing being kind of mid. Nowadays, it's like, you don't have an excuse. Are you even trying? And the only reason I say that is because I have seen better execution in other stories and other movies of similar concepts that show up. And I'm like, what do you say? What do you say to that? I don't want to say that the writers suck, and because, oh my gosh, the hate that the writers have been getting as of late is starting to get on my nerves. Like, there is absolutely no need to hate on the writers for anything. Like, these are people, real people. Stop. I don't know, man. I'm surprised. This is really my first time being on the internet and seeing all of this unfold, because the amount of time that I've spent on the internet for the olden days of Ninjago, well, I technically wasn't really allowed on the internet as a kid. So now I'm an adult and I'm like, oh, now I'm allowed to be on the internet and see what people think. And it's like, oh my goodness! Well, anyway, let's get into part 2 now, because it's about time. So I've got my notes here. And these notes are really messy. Like, these were notes that I was putting together when I was watching the show. like, mid-watching the show. Also, I watched the episodes when they were leaked. I watched episodes 11 through 15 when they were leaked, so I had a lot of time to truly think about some of the stuff that was introduced. But, yeah. Give me one sec. Let me get into the zone real quick. This line. Alright, so episode 11 starts off with the ninja saving some folks from dangling precariously over an overpass. I ain't never seen that before. Because there was like a merge quake or something that was happening. So, immediately when this episode starts, and I hate it when I do this, but every single time something happens in this show, I am trying my hardest, my darndest, not to question what's going on. Because, why? Well, usually when that happens, I get stuck. I get confused, I get stuck, something happens, and I'm like, oh, well, now there's no answer, so just shut up and watch the show. And to tell me, a Ninjago fanatic, to stop watching, or not stop watching, stop caring or thinking about what I'm watching is near impossible. So, first thing I was thinking about is, how long has it been since the ending of episode 10? I know a few days had passed since Lloyd was in a coma, but how long after that? I say this because once they save those random people, they go back to the monastery and are pretty much just kicking it until Zane has to remind them about the plot, and I'm like, how long has it been? A week or two? Oh man, that's even worse. Even if it's been a day, why doesn't Nia find this like map or something in the Cloud Kingdom, and she's like, what's that? It's a weird, strange looking temple, and it might have answers about what's going on with the merge. Huh, well, I won't tell the others about this pretty crucial information until I'm reminded about it. Dog, why? She doesn't tell anybody about the temple until Zane reminds them, so I'm like, no. As soon as Lloyd wakes up from his coma, that's immediately when Nia needs to be like, alright guys, we gotta roll. I found a place that might be interest of you guys, or something like, this is important. And not only that, but Zane coming in to remind everybody that the merge quakes are literally getting worse is just me being like, well, duh, we knew that since day one. Lloyd knew that since day one. But yeah, you wanna know what's well, I can't talk. You wanna know what else bothered me? Lloyd is busy cleaning up the monastery, and they're like, Lloyd, don't you want some help? And he's like, no, cause Master Will cleans the monastery all by himself. And I'm like, we're still on this? You gotta be kidding me. Alright, well, I ain't gonna waste my breath and talk about why the whole Lloyd Master Wu arc is silly. You can watch my part 1 stream for that information. But Lloyd wanting to clean up the monastery because Master Wu cleans it by himself, that's a lie. Y'all have chores. The beginning of Master of the Mountain is literally you guys needing to do chores. I didn't see Master Wu doing all that by himself. What you mean? I also came up with this joke, and I kind of want to make it into a spoof, but, y'all know that one SpongeBob episode where, like, Patrick starts copying SpongeBob? That's literally what's going on. Master was just like, aha, you're copying me, and Lloyd's like, yes. It's so, oh my gosh. Well, yeah. Anyway, Lloyd is goofy off. And the whole cleaning thing also is just for the big jokes, right? Just for the funny laugh. Because every scene that happens after Lloyd being like, I got this, is just him messing up and cleaning by himself. And I'm like, it's supposed to be funny, right? You're supposed to laugh at Lloyd taking a comedically oversized ladder and trying to fit it through a doorway. That's funny. You're supposed to laugh when Sora comes busting through the wall or something, like the Kool-Aid Man, and like sending Lloyd off his rocker. That's funny. You're supposed to laugh. Oh, by the way, I only laughed at that because it was like, I imagined it being like one of those cut off, like perfectly cut off things, and that made me laugh. But the premise of what was going on right now, it's just, why are we doing this? Aren't we under a time strain right now? Like, aren't we supposed to be saving the world from mergequakes? And then that got me thinking. These mergequakes, where exactly do they happen? How do you know where they're going to happen? And do you know when they're going to happen? And how can you get there fast enough? What if there's a mergequake happening right now on the other side of the new universe? And there are people, innocent lives, suffering from whatever chaos and trauma and damage is coming from the mergequake. And you're out here cleaning the monastery, watering your plants. Why are you doing this instead of prioritizing or figuring out a way to stop the mergequakes? Why are we wasting time? We're wasting time! Well, anyways, Zane will literally be trying to get Lloyd's attention throughout all that too, and be like, Lloyd, there's something important. And Lloyd's like, shut up, I need to do the laundry. Who are you skinwalkers that call yourselves the protectors of Ninjago? Ain't no way, I don't believe you. I can't. It's not really that funny to me, especially if there's something more important that needs to be addressed or is happening right now. I can't laugh because something else is going on. But anyways, moving past that, let me see. It was just silly. So Nia brings up the whole temple thing, and she's like, there's a place that we should go visit. Seems rather important. So they're like, okay, let's split into teams. Or not yet. Sorry. They go to the big tree place first. And I gotta ask, why is this place called the Temple of the Dragon Cores if the Dragon Cores aren't there? What do you mean? No, this place is the Temple of the Dragon Core plot exposition. That's really what it is. I don't see ain't no freaking Dragon Cores here, man. What you mean? And why does this place exist in this little tree place or something? Why did the first Spinjitzu master build this temple in the middle of a random tree temple place location? Where the cores were made? The cores were made in a tree realm. My brain. I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand. Maybe, but if the cores were made there, why not keep them there? Why do you gotta separate them and put them into 3 random locations? What is the point of that? This just feels like unnecessary conflict. I don't know. We just need to go on a quest, okay? We need to go on the video game quest where we explore the different lands. I don't know, man. Honestly, NDR Part 2 feels like a video game, low-key, like the plot. If it was a video game, that would be the most banger video game ever, because I really don't care about plot in video games, so long as I get to, like, play as characters that have cool powers, I guess. If this whole thing was a video game, that would be tight, but, as a show, it's just painful to watch, but, yeah. So, there's a little thing also that happens when they get to the door of this place. They see like 3 levers or something, and Zane's like, there must be a code or something to get in. I will use my robotness to try and figure out the combination. So he's going in, and all of a sudden he can't figure it out. They were sitting there for like hours or something, and he couldn't figure it out. And he's like, sorry, but it just doesn't seem to work. And that's when Aaron comes up and he's like, hey, wait a minute, maybe we need to flick all of the levers at once. And I'm like, dog, what? And it works. What? You're telling me Zane, the computer of the group, couldn't figure that out? Why? He's a computer! Alright, I'm done trying to argue. Welcome to Dragon's Rising, I guess. Not a lot of things make sense. And what are you, like, trying to imply with this scene, also? That the kids are smarter than the adults? I don't know about that one, Chief. Like, I'm not gonna say anything, or say that that's what they were implying. That just seems a little rude. And I hope they weren't implying that, but still, like, I can't help but ask what the point of the scene was. And even if it was something very simple, I feel like within Zane's computer, like, his brain, he should be able to think of every possible combination. He's like Doctor Strange, where he can see every possible future. And yet he couldn't see that one? Have y'all ever seen Doctor Strange 2? Like, I'm not gonna get too much into it, but y'all know how in Infinity War, he was looking through 14 billion different universes and was like, no, giving him the stone was the only one. Oh, really? What about the Book of Vishanti? In the second movie, they reveal that that's like a thing. And you're telling me in the 14 billion different universes, you didn't see you guys defeating Thanos with the book? Because another universe version of you did. What you mean? So, that's a random rant, but yeah, it does feel like a trope. So, I couldn't help but laugh when that scene happened, but also be like, dang it, why? We get it. Eren, Sora, and Wildfire are the quote-unquote new generation of Ninjago. But that doesn't make them better than the old generation. And it certainly doesn't make the old generation quote-unquote better than the new. I hate it when writers do this, where they're like, we want to emphasize that the new characters are cool, so let's make the old characters look stupid in comparison. And I'm like, that's not how this works. You want a good example of how to mix the old and the new? Watch Into the Spider-Verse. The connection that Peter B. Parker has with Miles Morales is perfectly executed. Neither one of them are, like, treated like stupid. Both of them have something to learn from each other. It's just, I could go on all day, but we don't have the time for that, so. Let's just move on. Let's see, the ninja arrived to the temple, the tree. Alright, so, this is what kills me. So, the spirit guy is split into two guys or something, because after the merge, his little table got all messed up. And that makes him angry or something. And because his table is messed up, that made him split into two different beings, and whoever enters the temple is pretty much going to be attacked on sight. If you're telling me that all you needed was your table to be fixed up for you to feel better, are you not able to communicate that? Like, I don't know if you're, like, split into, like, I don't know if being split into two different beings causes a lack of communication skills, which I guess is what's happening, but really? They just wanted to tie in the whole, Lloyd is good at cleaning thing. And Lloyd's like, remember now, everything must be put in its place, otherwise there's chaos. Remember the thing I said earlier? Oh wow, so his cleaning arc was actually kind of important. Really? And, like, this is the Temple of the Dragon Cores. This is the guy who knows about the merge, and who apparently knows about everything when it comes to the plot. He couldn't have, I don't know, maybe prepared in advance. Maybe, like, the first Spinjitzu Master couldn't have prepared him in advance or something in the worst case scenario or so. I don't freaking know what the point of the table thing was, other than bringing up the whole Lloyd cleaning thing. And y'all already know how I feel about the Lloyd cleaning thing. I don't like it. It was silly and dumb, so why do we even need to do this? Can we just get to the exposition of the plot? It's also, like, silly, but at least it's not a waste of our time. Get a more stable table, exactly. I mean, I don't know if y'all have an IKEA in the spirit realm or whatever, but come on, I believe in you. So anyway, let's talk about that thing. The first Spinjitzu Master created Other realms. Alright. Oh no! Our table! It's broken! I'm sorry, I looked at the stream chat before I was about to talk, and that kills me, bro. I want to make a spoof of that now. That's perfect. You guys kill me sometimes. Like, you make me laugh and smile. That's good. Anyway, so the first Spinjitzu master, created other realms. What do we think about that? I mean, what do we really think about that? I don't know about you, but, when I first watched this episode, let me let you in on a little fact. I actually made a list, before watching part 2. Actually, this was a list that I made when part 1 ended. It was a list called Things That I Don't Want to Happen in Part 2, but Probably Will. Because, you know, these things would cause a lot of damage to the past lore and characters and all that stuff. And the first thing that I put on that list was the merge has something to do with the first Spinjitzu master. And lo and behold, as soon as they entered this temple and as soon as I saw that massive wooden statue resembling the man himself, I wanted to quit. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. There's no way that I, number one, called it, and number two, it actually happened. Why? Why would you do this? I'll explain why this is really, really bad, but I'll get to that in a sec. So, first things first, I know a lot of people were saying that they kind of maybe speculated that the first Spinjitzu master already created other realms. Already. But the thing is, my reason why I didn't believe that was because imagine you're like a god or something in this universe, and you just created you created a world with living beings, people, and then, you know, just straight up leave them for another world that you created. Favoritism? Question mark? I mean, I don't know if that's I don't know if you want to be remembered for that, but, what I assumed was that those other 16 realms of Ninjago were parallel realms, meaning that they already existed so long as Ninjago existed. They're sort of like variants of Ninjago, but their rules are a little different. That's how, like, certain realms, even bad realms, existed that the first Spinjitzu master simply didn't know of or simply didn't stop. That's what I grew up to believe. And I didn't know, like, that was kind of like a headcanon, you know? It's not anything that's confirmed or anything, so I was just like, yeah, I'm fine believing something like that, until the writers say otherwise. Well, here we are. Exactly, the Cursed Realm. Did he create the Cursed Realm? Did he create the Never Realm? You know, the nice, peaceful realm full of peaceful folks that he just decided to call the Never Realm solely because it's far away. Yeah, what a nice guy. He's just such a nice guy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, bro didn't even make Ninjago. You're right, Ninjago already pre-existed. It was just water. The lore is gone. Just reduced atoms for the millionth time. I'm getting tired of this. I'm getting really tired of Ninjago just straight up not caring about its lore at this point. Like, please do better. This creates more problems than you think. Hey Jazzy, yeah, I did start a little early because I gotta leave a little early too, but I'm trying my best. So far the stream's been alive, I hope nothing bad happens. I might jinx it. But hey, hello, hi. You wanna know why I say the Oni trilogy is peak? It's because for once, for 3 seasons in a row, they managed to have continuity in the lore that they established. That's a record. The last time we had continuity, it was since, season 2. Yeah, Jazzy, we are talking about the big bombshell of information of the first Spinjitzu master creating other realms and how that is really dumb. I've also been talking about things like
Lloyd having a cleaning arc, even though that makes no freaking sense, because y'all had chores around the house. What you mean you Master Wu cleaned by the house by himself? It's so dumb. This whole part has sent me into an existentialism, almost. It really shouldn't have, but here we are. Welcome to Ninjago Dragons Rising Part 2. There's a lot of stuff that happened in this part. But yeah, we're still kind of at the beginning, slowly and surely churning away at some of the weird stuff that happened. So anyway, back on the whole first Ninjutsu Master thing. It gets worse. Of course it gets worse. It always will get worse before it gets better. So, not only did the first Ninjutsu Master create these other realms, but 7 Source Dragons pre-existed. Meaning the first Ninjutsu Master is no longer truly the strongest, most powerful being in the world. I mean, technically Firstborn and whoever the first Oni was the most powerful beings, but nah. Frick the Oni trilogy lore. Here's this. I can't do this, man. It's one thing to retcon other seasons' lore, but it's another thing to retcon the Oni trilogy lore. Now that's just going too far. How could you do this? So let me look at my notes. So he tells the Source Dragons, "Hey, I got a vision that my realms are gonna collide. What do I do?" And the Source Dragons are like, "Well, you gotta you gotta do something called Realms Plus subscription, you know, to keep the realms stable." So they gave him 3 Dragon Cores. Why 3 and not just 1 or 7? I don't know. Yeah, 3's just the lucky number, I guess. But, yeah. So they give him 3 Dragon Cores. And that's it. The merge didn't happen. Hooray! They prevented the merge. So, the thing is, the cores worked, but he forgot to renew his Source Dragon Plus subscription when he died. So Master Wu was the one responsible to do it later. Either the first Ninjutsu Master didn't tell Master Wu about any of that stuff, or he did, and Master Wu forgot. No matter how you spin it, unfortunately, somebody is a scumbuddy. Somebody messed up. The realm, the merge, happened. The one thing that the first Ninjutsu Master was trying to prevent, happened. It's over now. I can't believe it. And what's worse, the merge can't be undone. Wow. So, also, did the Source Dragons tell the first Ninjutsu Master, by the way, you need to update your Realms Core Plus subscription thing? I don't know if they even told him, because then maybe that would make sense why he wouldn't tell his son, but still, somebody's keeping a very important secret, and because of that, the merge unfortunately happened, and now merge quakes are something to deal with. The merge and its consequences can't be undone. This news should be like the worst thing to ever hear on the ninja's part. I can't believe... Okay, actually, I think I can show you guys some art now. I think I made something for this. Yes, I did. Okay. So, here we go. So, these are still in sketch form. I think there's only one that's truly finished. But I imagine that once the sprite guy tells them this, he also says the merge cannot be undone. He doesn't actually say this in the show. But I want him to say this because this is serious. The merge, do you know how many people suffered after the merge? Do you know how many people's lives have changed? Either for better or worse. There's just so much happened. There's so much that happened and changed because of this. And the ninja can't do anything about it. So I made this art as well. I imagine that once they get this bombshell of news, once they know where the cores are, everyone just kind of somberly leaves the temple and goes back home. And that night they're just kind of like, dang, there's nothing we can do. It's just like they're just thinking somberly. Everyone also has different thoughts on their mind. I really liked making this, honestly, because not only is there like perspective done, but all the characters are thinking to themselves about something. All of their expressions have different like thoughts behind them. We got Aaron, who's kind of thinking to himself about all of this, along with Lloyd. We have Sora and Kai, who's kind of looking at the state of the room, like, oh man, this is too much. Poor little Ryu just curled up into a ball on the floor. Zane kind of like holding his mouth, like thinking to himself, like, oh gosh, holy cow. So, Nia is like, she got her hands on her hips looking down, almost disappointed. Because if anybody is like, upset about failure, she would be a little. If anything, she might take this a little hard too. And Wildfire, she steps in the room. She's not fully 100% like aware of what's happening or how serious the situation is. I mean, at least to her and Sora, the merge wasn't that big of a deal to them. They got powers from it, and not only that, but suspiciously, Wildfire was never torn away from her home. Her home actually stayed intact, surprisingly, but she didn't really suffer that big of consequences compared to everybody else. So, there's a lot going on in this room. Let me see. I've also got I think a comic that continues this conversation. Like, Lloyd is the first one to speak up. And he's like, guys, I'm sorry. He's starting to apologize because I've noticed this pattern of Lloyd, like, apologizing whenever something wrong happens or whenever he feels like he fails the team, because he has been raised to be the green ninja, this world's savior, protector, and so he feels obligated to always apologize when this stuff goes wrong. And Nia immediately cuts him off and is like, don't do that. You know that none of this is your fault. You know none of this is our fault. And Lloyd brings up the whole, we are Ninjago's protectors. Whatever happens to it is on us. And even Kai steps in and is like, none of us could have known what was going to happen. Not even you. Don't blame yourself. I think that's, like, what happens. Like, they're, like, talking to him. They're like, don't blame yourself. And that's when Lloyd looks to Aaron. Because he's like, I personally got to know this kid. This kid suffered. He lost his home. He lost his family. And I personally got to meet and know who he is. That just makes knowing that the merge, the consequences of the merge, all of that just makes knowing that we can't fix any of it all the more worse. It's like almost like the Harumi situation. Harumi really laid it on thick with Lloyd, how the ninja failed to do their job and they were the worst heroes in the world and she suffered the consequences. And this is kind of the first slap in the face that Lloyd ever got to knowing that people get hurt whenever they try to do their job. So he's looking at Aaron and he's just like, people suffered and I can't help but carry the guilt. And even the ninja themselves are like, well dang, that's true. There's not really anything we can say or do with that. And then Aaron steps up and he's like, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to carry that guilt. And he's like, we all know who you guys really are. You sacrificed so much for Ninjago and you still do. Aaron has gotten to personally know Lloyd as well throughout all of their experiences. He knows the true hardships, the expectations that ninjas have to go through when trying to protect the world. It's so much. And to see that they're still going, it's like, dang! You guys are doing all that you can, all that people can do. And so he's like, maybe the merge can't be fixed. Maybe all our lives have changed because of it. But staying stuck, the ninja I know wouldn't let that stop them. And all the kids are like, there's like a focus of all the kids in this room. Sora's kind of looking to Aaron and she's smiling a little bit because she has gotten to know Aaron, and Aaron has always kind of, at least Aaron in my art, has always kind of been stuck in the past thinking about what could have been. So in this moment now, he's just thinking about what is coming soon and what they should do in preparation of that. Ryu's like looking up and he's like, oh yeah, the hype, it's coming in. Even Wildfire at the door is like, yeah. She's like, I can imagine her like nodding to herself like, yeah. And then the last panel, I guess, is Aaron just being like, when we stop the merge quakes, whatever the world looks like then, I know we'll be okay. And Lloyd is like, how do you know? And he's not asking this out of like being sad or depressed or something. He's just asking because he's like, are you sure? Like, I don't really know. I've never seen a survivor of these kinds of things be so hopeful. How do you know? Well, you, Lloyd, the ninja. Hope, the themes of hope. And that's where the comic ends. But, like, come on. Like, if this show is really, like, bringing out the themes of hope and the themes of, like, never giving up in the face of tragedy, I feel like this is the perfect way to do it. In order to rise above tragedy, however, you gotta have tragedy. And because this show doesn't treat the merge as a tragedy, it doesn't. So how can we have empowering scenes like this if the merge isn't sad, if the merge isn't serious, if nothing is serious? How can we have build up to Aaron learning over time after such a loss in his life, learning how to have that optimism that he has now? How can we see that build up? How can his optimism isn't, like, it isn't earned. It feels given. It feels forced. It feels it just doesn't feel natural. I don't know, something about it. You know how easy it is to traumatize a child after a, like, world-bending crisis? Ain't no way this boy, after witnessing his family get yeeted, like he got yeeted away from his parents, experiencing 15 Gs, there's no way that he could not feel some form of dread after that. It's just, after I saw that scene, I was at school when I watched that scene. I saw the scene where they get the merge quake, they get the lore drop. They see everything that's going on. They're like, you know what? Let's go back home, and that's it. I stopped. I was in the middle of school, and I honestly didn't have to go to my next class in, like, the next few hours. So I could have easily kept watching the show. I could not do it. This was the first time in my entire life of watching Ninjago things, I just stopped watching it and just went to do something else. I couldn't take it. Obviously, I came back to the show and would continue watching it, but oh my gosh, I could not do it. And I got upset at myself during that day too, because I was like, I can't believe that I stopped watching this show. How could that, am I really a true Ninjago fan? I can't believe this. Like, obviously, no, you don't need to value your worth over how much you consume of a product. I don't think that's necessary, but I really, there's a lot that happened. It's just, man. I was so tempted to skip too, man. I obviously, I wanted to take notes because I was preparing for the stream. I have to make sure I get all my facts right. But I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, are you really seriously telling me that no one cares about the merge enough to feel something? Like, this is what I also said too. I remember putting this, like, on a comment or something. I was like, personally, I won't care that much if the lore gets retconned for the millionth time. You know why? Because past Ninjago would do the same thing. Rebooted, for example, season 3, whatever you want to call it. I love that season, but it destroys the lore about the Serpentine and the Overlord and everything. It's just as wacky. But you want to know why I don't yell at that season? It's because the characters, the emotional beats, make sense. They stay intact, and that's the only reason why I kept watching the show. So I kept watching. Even if the lore gets funky, they managed to have good emotional beats and good character arcs that stayed strong. But this show is like, there's more funky lore, but the character arcs are weaker in comparison. And it just it's complete hit or miss. And I'm like, no. No. I stayed around for this long, and I tried, you know, kind of making excuses for the show for that matter, but this, I can't do it. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? Like, I don't know. The love triangle was pretty goofy, I'll give it that. But, actually, you know what? I may as well share this too. I don't know if I'll post it or something, maybe down the line, but over time, I was rewatching the show as a big marathon, kind of, because I was gathering together a bunch of clips from the old seasons of the show and putting them into one big, like, mega compilation videos of scenes from Ninjago that hit different, that were emotionally impacting. They were really good, right? Every season has their own video to it. Season 1 has, like, what? Oh my gosh, Cooper's barking. Season 1 is like 31 minutes, I think. 31 minutes of pure, unbridled feelings. And they're good, and they make sense, and they're logistical. Season 2, I forget how long it is, but I got up to the Oni trilogy. Sons of Garmadon is 49 minutes. Hunted is an hour and 10 minutes. That's half the entire show's runtime. An hour and 10 minutes. March of the Oni is 45 minutes, and March of the Oni is only like an hour long. Like, there was so much. And then, as soon as I got to the Wild Brain seasons, I realized there was not a lot. Mainly because of the push for more comedy in the writing. There was a lot less. There's still emotional beats, don't get me wrong, but there weren't enough to make their own respective videos. And I was kind of actually sad about that. I was like, this is how far we've come. Less emotional beats, you know? And I get it. Maybe they did that because no one cares about Ninjago. No one takes the story seriously, you know? Why would they? It's just a goofy-ah Lego show of a bunch of fruity-tooty ninjas fighting to save the world. There's no need to take any of the character arcs or any of the concepts seriously because, well, the world has always made fun of Ninjago. That's usually how it goes. We may as well just stop trying. And I'm like, dog, no. Keep trying. I cared. I have been emotionally impacted by this show as much as I've been emotionally impacted by Minecraft Story Mode. If you've seen my recent animation for it, then you know what I'm talking about. This show has impacted me just the same. Why would you give up on that? Don't give up on that, please. Oh, jeez. I've said a lot, and we still have a lot more to go, so... Oh, boy. Exactly, Jazzy. What do you think I've been doing this whole time? I'm wasting, like, my energy and my time and my strength just to make stuff about these goofy-ah Legos. They mean something. They mean something to me. And also, I don't see it as a waste of time, because, I personally enjoy it. But, yeah. But anyways, yeah. All of those feelings came out of just that scene. That scene of the bombshell and everything else. Like, wow, okay, thanks Ninjago for sending me into existentialism about my place in Ninjago and how I feel about it. I wasn't expecting it, but, well. So anyway, let's get down to business. They get back home and they decide to split into teams. This is where I start to have major problems with the pacing of the episodes. Now, I'm not exactly sure why, and I'm not going to say anything, like, super big or anything, but, like, personally, I'm kind of slow in the brain. I get it. It takes me a while to understand what's going on sometimes. But that's just me, you know? So, sometimes when I don't understand or can't keep up with a plot or pacing or episodes and stuff like that, I tend to not try to blame the show because, you know, maybe it's just me. But, dog, I was suffering. The way that they were cutting between 3 different things. You got 2 minutes dedicated to one team, then 15 minutes to another team, and then 3 minutes to another team, and then back at 4 minutes with one team. And I'm like, holy crap, slow down. Why couldn't you dedicate 1 episode to one team, 1 episode to another team, and 1 episode to another team? You have all the time in the world, you could have done that. why on earth are you cutting away like this? It was so bad that it was getting hard for me to write notes. So what I did was that I wrote down the teams. I wrote Aaron and Lloyd, Nia and Sora, Kai and Wildfire. And I just wrote down everything that they were doing, skipping through each of the episodes, finding where they were, and then writing down what was going on. That's how I watched the show. I could not watch it the way that they intended, because holy crap. I don't know how else to describe it. And as I can see in the chat, it seems like there are other people who also struggle with the same thing. So now I'm like, Ninjago, was this intentional? Or what? Like, I don't understand. I don't think it was a very good idea to pace the episodes the way you did. And the thing is, I couldn't help but think about Hunted, because Hunted is also a season that technically has 2 different storylines going on, but for starters, it's 2 storylines, not like 7. So the pacing is a lot easier to control. And not only that, but the way that they cut back and forth between both the plot lines, and depending on the name of the episode, would already tell you what you were supposed to focus on. So even with my slow brain, and I was like younger when Hunted came out. Even with my slow brain, I was able to follow what was going on in Hunted. So, what is your excuse? I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty intense, and not in the good ways. It's like, bruh. So, here we go. I'm just going to tackle each team at a time, but my notes, they did kind of like mention some of the cutting back and forth, and I was like, dog, what am I supposed to do? I remember it was a Wednesday, I think, when the episodes came out that I was writing about the team splitting up. And Wednesdays are my longest days of the week because I'm at school from 10:30 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. So I'm dog tired and trying to understand this goofy Lego show. It's a lot. But anyways, let's start talking about the teams. I'm gonna talk about Lloyd and Aaron last because they kind of transition into what's like the next half of the episodes, so we'll get to them. But give me 1 sec, I'm trying to figure out these eyeballs. I am 20 years old, Jaya. I'm in college. And I am watching a goofy Lego show. Yep, that tells you how long I've been around with the show, by the way. But anyway, I need to fix these eyes. They're like desaturated for some reason. Grr. Give me 1 sec. I know, I'm trying to go as fast as I can. There we go. Bright eyes. Alright. College Ninjago fans, band together! Yes! Okay, so let's see. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna talk about Aaron and Lloyd first. Let's go. So, Aaron and Lloyd are on the bounty flying to wherever they need to be. My first question, because I'm always questioning things, is do they know where they're going? Do they have a map? I mean, they were shown like the locations of the cores, but that didn't imply they knew where they were going. Did they? Did they show up maps? I forgot. It's been a hot minute since I watched part 2, honestly. I didn't really want to watch it again. Did they have maps? Or were they just straight up? Okay, maybe they had maps, but like, I'm just gonna ignore it. If they didn't have maps, bruh. If they did have maps, bruh. Anyway, they're flying right now, and Aaron's trying to practice his whole transferring object to spinjitzu thing, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You're practicing that? Dude, it's not that hard. Is it? Like, from what I can understand, to transfer a spinjitzu to an object, which sounds really stupid when you say it out loud, but like, to transfer object to a spinjitzu, all you gotta
Transfer spinjitzu to an object. Gosh, all you have to do is do spinjitzu while holding an object. And then yeet! I don't think it's that hard. So why are you practicing this? What the frick ever. I honestly, they just needed some conflict. They just needed him to be doing something. In fact, the conflict is literally him practicing this, and he ends up breaking like the bounty engine or something, and they're straight up falling out of the sky. And I'm like, wow. Wow, way to go. What a way to have conflict in the story that means something, you know? Aaron just messes up doing that. Like, dog, all you needed to do was aim away from the bounty. You are open space in the sky. Just throw towards the sky. What are you doing? Well, you know, forced conflict is something I'm kind of used to in Ninjago, so I didn't really think too much of it. But because they now land in the ocean, they're now drifting towards this, like, town or something on the ocean. And the town is being raided by Merlopians. And that made me instantly go, Benthamar? Where? But Benthamar isn't there. In fact, it's just a bunch of snake Merlopians, not actual Merlopians. So I'm like, bruh. No. So one of the Merlopian snakes has a crown or something, and that crown is controlling one of the Merlopian people with a giant crab or something. And the crab attacks the guy. Oh my gosh, my brain. So there's a crab that terrorized these people. And these farmers, like, we see them a little later because we'll see that they got stranded or something. And I'm like, hold on a moment, wait a second. So this is all of your people? Is this everybody? Is this the entire town of algae farmers? Wow, there's not a lot of you, are there? Because either everyone else that got trapped on that, the town was killed or something by the Merlopians, or that's it. Literally everyone you see on that little floating thing that's everybody in the town. Yikes! So now we're engaging in some random side quest where we have to fight the crab and have the Merlopians and the algae farmers be happy together, I guess, or something. And by the end of it, nothing happens. Like, other than the farmers helping to fix the bounty, they get nothing from this interaction, this exchange. And I was like, why are we doing this? We are in a time restraint. We have to save the world from earthquakes. There's probably people on the other side of the world that are dying from earthquakes. Why are we doing this? If anything, couldn't, like, the algae farmers give some kind of advice or something? Maybe, here's an idea. Let's have Lloyd have a physical map that's leading them to this location or something. And when the bounty breaks or whatever happens to make the bounty breaks, they're falling out of the sky and then they land in the ocean. And that makes Lloyd drop the map or something. And the map goes into the ocean and it washes away. And they're like, no! Not only is the bounty broken, but now we don't know where we're going. So then when they help the algae farmers, they're like, hey, wait a minute. We know where the mother garden is. It's like, that way. We have a map. And they're like, oh, hey. So their entire interaction of being with the algae farmers and everything like that will actually mean something for the overall plot. I don't know, man. I was confused why we were doing this crab thing when we have other things to do, other places to be. It's not like, I don't know, man. I couldn't. No. So,
they then help those people and they are on their way. They then arrive to the Mother Garden. No problems, no qualms, no nothing. Now, the Mother Garden is with the snail people, like the mucoid snail warrior things. Ugh, that name is, ugh. Something about that name sounds disgusting, but, yeah, snail people. Now, this absolutely cracks me up, but, hold on, let me go to my notes. Okay, so the core is being protected by the snail warriors. They're just standing there. And Lloyd is like, hold on, Aaron, we need to ask permission to get the core. Then all the snails come out of like their shells and they're like, yay, you did it! You did it! You passed the test! You were supposed to ask permission before you take something. I was like, what? Dog, what if the most dastardly supervillain who wanted to end the world came to the core thing and was like, is there anyone here who can provide me the core? And then they're like, yes, and they give him the core. The most dastardly supervillain tricked them into giving the core because the snails are stupid, I guess, or something. I don't know. Why? Just why? That's all I could ask. Why? Why did this happen? Why did we do this? The snails, they do their thing. They give the core to Lloyd and Aaron. And I was like, wow, that was so unreasonably easy. And that's because they have to show us something. They're like, actually, we want to show you somebody who tried to take the core earlier. We want to show you the dissenters. We want to show you what happens with people who try to steal the core. And I'm like, that's great, but we don't care right now because we're trying to save the world. Why would we care about what happens to dissenters? Gosh, let's keep wasting time, why don't we? So, they then see it's Rapton who tried to steal the core. And I was like, wow, who would have guessed? Rapton tried to steal the core. Well, anyway. Alright, cool. Well, bye. What the heck is going on in chat? Stop the villains in this goofy explorer underground jet? Huh? Anyway, what was I saying, bro? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, they see Rapton, and I'm like, oh, wow, Rapton tried to steal the core? Who would have thought? Anyway, let's leave now, because this man is just gonna get the punishment that, you know, was gonna happen. He tried to steal the core. Let's move on. And that's when Lloyd literally is like, well, hey now, I don't think we need to do all that. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I am mad at you, Lloyd. I mean, if anybody's going to be stupid and try to, like, freaking free a bad guy for doing horrendous things, it's Lloyd. It's Lloyd. It's crystallized all over again. But this is Rapton. This is not like a person like Harumi. Rapton freaking tried to attack you, hurt the children, he attacked you with the light beasts the last time you fought. Why on earth would you want to free him? Why? Here's what you should have done. Lloyd, all you gotta do is ask, what's the punishment? Like, in depth, what's the punishment? And the snails will be like, oh, you see, we're gonna drop him in a pit of salt. And as soon as Lloyd hears that, that should be enough for him to be like, okay, well, bye, have fun. Like, that ain't tormenting him. That is, like, unless the snails were about to, like, we are going to kill him and gouge out his eyeballs and feast on his livers. Like, then Lloyd could be like, whoa, like, that I can understand. Because even the worst of people getting that kind of treatment sounds a little too much. But the man was just gonna get thrown in a pit of salt anyway. Why? Why? We're wasting time. We're wasting time. We gotta get the core. We gotta leave. Why are we trying to help Rapton? Lloyd literally offers to go and take the punishment of Rapton for himself by walking the impossible path or something. And I'm like, I want to scream. I have never been this mad watching since Crystallize. Why? At this point at the show, I was kind of numb. I started getting numb. I was like, yep. I was like, yep, more stupidity, more bull. Let's just... I'm tired of trying to fight it, because what's the point? What is the point? I'm losing my will to fight it. I don't understand. Yeah, he comes back and he's like, guys, it was just salt. I don't understand. And the snails are like, what? You survived the salt? Impossible. Nothing gets past the salt. And I'm like, dog, you're a snail. These are people. What did you think was... You know what? I'm done. No, I'm done trying to ask it. So, they free Raptor. And what does Raptor do? Freaking steals the core. It just straight up steals the core. No muss, no fuss, just... did... Yep. Lloyd will never learn. Yeah. I wouldn't, like, a part of me, when I saw him steal the core, was like, should I even bother pointing this out in a stream? Should I even bother trying to explain why this is stupid? See, unlike Ninjago, I actually think highly of my audience. I'd like to believe you're a little more smarter than that. There's no way. Just, there's no way. I believe you guys know that this is silly. Exactly, Lloyd can have good intentions, but this is just the stupidest way to do it. And I'm happy that there are people who do realize this, but I'm also fearful because there are some who do not. And now I'm like, oh boy. So, yeah, a part of me was just like, I don't know what to do. I try not to sound super mean whenever I am angry about something, because I understand the people who, like, are angry about Dragon's Rising, they take it too far sometimes, dog. And I'm like, look, I'm disappointed, but not to the extent where I would threaten your family. Like, no, I'm just mildly disappointed. Alright, so that's what happens, and then when Raptor just gets, like, electrocuted by these guys who are part of the administration. Now, before anybody asks, and I don't know if anybody is going to ask this, but as soon as I heard the word administration, yes, as a Minecraft story mode fan, I was immediately like, oh my god! But, yeah. If anybody else doesn't know Minecraft Story Mode, you'll get that reference if you understand. But yeah, so the administration comes in, they grab the core, and they're like, huh, this thing is bringing up a lot of strange power surges. We should probably take this in. And I was like, okay, I'm immediately hooked. The idea is fascinating. Perhaps there is a secret service or an underground agency that is meant to try and capture and contain anomalies or strange effects or anything that basically happened after the merge. And I was like, finally, something that took place after the merge that's going on in the background to showcase there were still consequences to the merge that changed the world. Finally, let's get it. I'm immersed. And then, well, yeah, should I talk about the administration right now, or should I go into the other teams? Should I just talk about the administration? Because I have yet to show you guys the art. I said I was going to show it, and it's been like an hour. Let's get it. I'm going to show you guys the art. So, first things first, Sora and Nia, their team, what they're up to, they eventually will meet Cole, right? So we gotta talk about Cole too, and we'll get there in a moment. But right now, I want to show you guys the art. Let me see. Whoop, I don't want to turn that up. Okay, so just like in part 1 where we had older Kai and older Nia, let's put them on the screen. Older Cole and older Jay. They have indeed aged as well. So, and I also have side-by-side art. So here's Cole, is a younger version, and then his older version. I decided to bring back the man bun, because his hair's getting longer. Why not? And I also like to headcanon that Cole is like the oldest of the ninja team, or he was always kind of the oldest. So he's going to look the oldest, if anything, compared to everybody. So there's Cole, and then here's a side-by-side of Jay. My guy, Jay, man, there's so many things I want to say, man, but we'll get to it. So, but Jay, oh, Lord have mercy. There's so many things about Jay right now. We're going to talk about the administration first, I think, before we talk about, Cole, but... So let's talk about the administration, huh? Let me see. Where are my notes, man? They're all over the place. Let's go. Okay, so the administration is a part of the realm of madness, apparently, according to Zane. This is word for word what he was saying. And I was like, excuse me? The realm of madness? Like the same realm with those rock creatures that have an advanced civilization? What? Why is there just an office building in the realm of madness? And a big one at that, like... Alright, why does it take place in the realm of madness? Because, you know, it turns out the administration is not actually what I thought it was. It's not a place where they are a secret agent society that contains anomalies and tries to figure out the whole merge event. Nope, it's just a place with crazy people. Like, don't take my word for it. Take the shows. Zane literally said the places of gross incompetence or something. And basically, it's just a whole place trying to incompetently bury anyone who enters there with endless paperwork assignments for the most obscure things and unnecessary things. Only one department actually does anything meaningful for plot, and it is realm reassignment, where Jay is. And unfortunately, Jay is not doing anything. Because Jay has been just playing video games the whole time. And, yeah. Also, the realm reassignment department is racist, I guess, because when they find people inside the space pockets or something that are in between realms, which, space pockets, what the frick? When they find people there, they try to reassign them back to their place of origin, but they just kind of they just guess where they're from based off what they look like. And I'm like, is that not racist? They sent 2 people from the Cloud Kingdom to the Cursed Realm, and they sent freaking 2 skeletons into the Cloud Kingdom. And I'm like, wow, okay, so you guys don't do anything. You guys literally are not important. You are not meaningful. This whole place is a freaking joke. Like, you know, that's okay. Why? Yep. So Jay is the manager there. He's not the administrator. We don't know who the administrator is. And frankly, I do not care. He doesn't meet the ninja. He doesn't see the ninja. He just playing video games and then he leaves. And that is literally the last time we see Jay in the show. I thought he was gonna be cool. I thought this was gonna be interesting. I thought Like, people were saying there was like a rumor or something that Jay lost his memory or something. So he doesn't remember the ninja or something. But I didn't believe it because that rumor was like from a freaking obscure French magazine or something of Ninjago, and I don't really trust those for like legit information. So I just assumed maybe after the merge, Jay found the organization when they were starting to build up and became manager of Realm Reassignment because he was hoping that when they were searching the space balls or the space bubbles, whatever the frick, when they were searching them, he could find his friends. He could find his family. Maybe he became manager of Realm Reassignment for that reason. And maybe he lost a part of him, I guess, because he's been, you know, apart from his family for a long time. He became this stone cold, hard working agent or something. And he's been working day and night, non-stop, just hoping that he could find his family. But after all the years that's passed, it's kind of become almost like a lost cause. So he's just like, he's just working now. I don't know. Yeah, there better be a good explanation for why Jay's lazy other than he's the funny man, right? So let's have him do something funny. Also, I think I made a meme or something in here. Yeah, I made a meme. It's a really stupid meme, honestly, but like, I was making some art of Jay because I was making a video for this. And it just says, holy sheesh, Jay became the freaking president. I don't know. Just that out of context seemed funny to me. So, but this art is actually a part of a video that I'm going to post much later down the line. It's a funny meme video, funny haha. And the art that I made for this was a lot, I'll say that at least. But I did like drawing Jay in a suit. Like, you know what? Out of all the crap that I give this scene, and as much as I despise it, Jay in a suit was kind of like awesome. I liked it. I liked drawing it. I enjoyed drawing it, but oh my god, it's the worst. Anyway, back to drawing Mr. Geo here. Yeah, so Jay is reduced to an irrelevant plot device. And the ninja just leave. They don't even know he's there. And I'm like, dog, does that mean we're even gonna come back? Is this place even important to come back to? How are we gonna come back to this place if it doesn't seem like it's that important to begin with? Like, that seems concerning to me. Like, couldn't we have a scene where when the ninja are, like, running down the hallways of the administration or something, like, Jay's just passing through and he, like, takes off his sunglasses or something and reveals to the audience, oh my gosh, it's Jay! And Jay doesn't recognize the team to, you know, further establish whatever fact is that he can't remember them. Do something! Just do something! That is literally all I want. Do something important. Why must everything be a joke? I'm sure, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure they're going to set him up for a bigger season. But the way that they did it, the way that everything went down, I almost can't believe it. Like, both Cole and Jay, I feel like aren't going to play major roles as much as people think they are because of the way that they're building everything up. And Cole, I will talk about him as well. But just the way that they're treating all of this. Remember now, they did make the executive decision to sideline the OG characters, so I really don't think they're going to play as big of a role as people are thinking they are. And I'm very tired of getting bait and switched, too. I'm tired of having hope. Which is depressing considering the main theme, the main thematic message in this show. But, like, I'm tired of trying to hope for the best of this show and being disappointed. I'm tired. I'm tired out of my mind. Exactly. It does feel like a little bit like bait. And you know, I did talk about being baited in even part 1, so I wouldn't put it past them. I'm really tired, guys. I don't know how else to say it. Okay, so let's just rewind and go to the next group. Kai and Wildfire. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Where's the notes? Where are the notes? Alright, so Kai and Wildfire. Oh my gosh, ow. Hit my knee. I don't know, guys. Here we go. So in the episode where they save the algae farmers from the crab, they're like, I'm sure Kai and everybody else are doing just fine. And then they do that cutaway thing where they're like, they're not fine, and then they end the episode there because for the funny, I guess. So Kai and Wildfire are taken captive by pirate skeletons and are about to die a horrible, gruesome death. What? Uh-oh. Oh no, my pen. I have a solution for this. My pen just broke. Oh, frick. Here we go. I broke the nib. Are you kidding me? I just broke the nib. No! I mean, I can fix it, but not right now. I have a backup pen. Well, okay, that was awkward. But, well, that tells you how mad I am, I guess, because I literally smashed my pen on the table and I broke the nib. Kai and Wildfire are taken by pirate skeletons. Okay, so that's pretty bad. They're in a death trap, about to die. And this is where things start going a little strange for me. Like, apparently they're stuck in this trap, right? And Kai's like, hang on a minute, do you see the pattern of the arrows or something? Do you see what's going on in the trap? We can use that to escape or something. And Wildfire's like, yeah, duh, I know. And then she starts to escape. And I was like, what? You knew? Why didn't you say anything? Why would you wait? You were about to die in a terrible, gruesome death trap. Why the frick would you wait? Because you want to rub it in Kai's face that you quote-unquote know better or something? What the... Okay. So that made me go, well, gee, that doesn't seem like Wildfire. I mean, we don't know much about her, but I really don't see her as this kind of selfish, cocky, overconfident type character. Especially when she hasn't really been in society all that much. And I also don't see her only doing this to want to, like, one-up Kai. What is the point of that? What is the point of them having a rivalry? Why? Wildfire, you wouldn't... Why? Okay. Okay, my personal opinion on Wildfire is that I saw her as sort of a Drax type character. Has anyone watched Guardians of the Galaxy before? Like the MCU movie. If anyone's seen that movie and you know the character Drax, then you know what I'm talking about. He's super oblivious and he's also really, like, brash and abrasive. But he's also very sweet. He's just oblivious sometimes. I assumed that was what Wildfire was. I assumed that was her character. And I was here for it. I was down for it. But part 2... It's just... oh my goodness. She seems to come off more as this weird, cocky, overconfident type character, and it threw me off for a loop. And I know the reason they did that is because they were apparently trying to make a tie or something between her and old Kai. But I couldn't help but go, no, old Kai was never like this. What do you mean? And I would know because I rewatched the pilots and season 1. Kai was never a weird, abrasive... He was a little, impulsive, but he was also smart. Like, I hope people understand this. Kai's not a dunce. I don't know why people are thinking Kai is a dunce right now or something. Like, he's stupid, he goofy stupid, he doesn't know anything. I'm like, no, he did know something. He did know a lot of things. He was very ingenuitive. And the only reason he was being impulsive in the past was because he was trying to protect his sister. In the pilots, when he abandoned the team and was trying to work on his own, it was because he felt like he was in a rush trying to get whatever weapons Master Wu needed to save Nia. I don't think he was only rude because of that. Beyond that point, I really don't think he was that much of a... Yeah. I don't think he was not that bad. He was not that rude. Do y'all remember in season 1 when they try to face the Devourer? I actually was watching season 1 like yesterday. But when they try to face the Devourer the first time and they're blasting like the sound effect to this Devourer, that plan was entirely Kai's plan. So forgive me when I say I don't believe you when in like part 1 of Dragon's Rising, he's like mindlessly kicking the metal egg in the basement or something, and Nia's like, stop, what do you think that's gonna do? And he's like, it's the only thing I know how to do. I'm like, no, you are not a dunce. You are not this stupid. I do not believe this show. And I'm tired of them trying to gaslight me into believing that he is a dunce. He's always been a dunce. No. Just, no. Bye. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you hearing me talk for a while. I sometimes get self-conscious about that, honestly. But I'm in the zone. Yeah, I feel like that's wrong. I feel like people saying Wildfire is supposed to be like a parallel of Kai. No, I don't really believe that. So, yeah, I guess that makes the rest of my experience watching the two of them a little painful. Because Wildfire just came off as a jerk. Like, what's it? They escaped the trap or something, and the pirate skeletons are like, give us back our gemstones. And Kai's like, what do you mean? We didn't take your gemstones. And Wildfire's like, I did. And I'm like, why? What prompted you to do this? And she said it was a joke. It was just a prank, bro. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Why would you... What? How... What do you... Look, Wildfire, I may not know much about you right now, but I really don't think from where you came from you would be into making such stupid prank jokes. I mean, I don't know. I assume she wouldn't be. She was raised by the nanny bot and her dragon friend, and I don't think Heatwave taught her how to be a jerk or how to pull pranks. And her nanny bot, I'm sure, would have taught her basic, like, common courtesy. Wouldn't it? Is that not in the nanny bot's programming? What's it? Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure the writers have forgotten about the nanny bot. I'm sure that Wildfire probably forgot about the nanny bot. Because, you know, it's natural in Ninjago's writing to always forget about robot characters. They were literally in the wildness, and not once did Wildfire think to herself, oh shoot, I just freaking left the nanny bot. The nanny bot has no idea if I'm alive right now, if I'm okay. The last time we spoke, the nanny bot was literally like, there will be danger, and I'm like, yes, I will be the danger. And I literally never came back after that. You're just not gonna... How much did the nanny bot freaking mean to you? I mean, I'm assuming the nanny bot was the one that clothed you, that had to bathe you, probably fed you when you were an infant, because I know for a fact Heatwave couldn't do any of those things. If he tried, he'd probably kill you, because, like, Heatwave drinks lava. Imagine if the child was hungry and Heatwave was by himself and he's like, oh shoot, what do I do? Maybe the child needs some lava. Just gone, reduced to atoms. I don't get why people then use, she was raised by a dragon, so that's why she's rude as an excuse. No. No! She wasn't raised by Heatwave. Heatwave feels more like a sibling dynamic with her than it does a parental dynamic. Dog. It was strange. And then I was like, well, okay, this is a strange retconning of her character, even though we didn't really know much about her. But you know what? I'm gonna roll with it, because I'm assuming they're doing this for a reason, right? They're trying to make her learn a lesson or something. They're trying to make her see that that's bad or something. So, you know, fine, whatever. Retcon her character for a shallow, kind of lesson, I guess. I don't care. Let me see. So, okay, yeah, not only does she burn she burns the skeleton army's hand as well. When the army guy literally was like, let's have a truce. And she straight up, I'm like, why would you do that? He was offering a truce. And then she's like, because it's funny and it's a prank. And I'm like, that is not a prank. And I'm sure Kai tries to, like, you know, tell her that. But the thing is, as much as I'm trying to be like, it's for the lesson, I can't help but be like, Wildfire should know better. This lesson feels like it's forced onto a character that didn't need to learn it in the first place. It just, I don't understand. I feel like this could have been done better. You know what I would have wanted to see instead? Wildfire isn't a part of society, so she's probably oblivious to social cues. So I could see her maybe thinking that shaking the dude's hand with fire maybe was a sign of respect with her, because maybe her and Heatwave did something with fire or something. I don't know. Be like that. And then Kai's like, no, what are you doing? You can't do that. And she's like, why not? What's the problem? The two of them could maybe get into arguments at one point. There could be conflict, because both of them don't really know what's going on in this entirety. Like, Kai and Wildfire could maybe have a sit down and be like, look, I get it. I don't know everything either, alright? I don't know what's going on with this whole Mergequake situation. I don't know who these creatures are that we're meeting right now. I don't know anything. Right now. At this moment, of course. But all I do know is that I gotta take it one step at a time, because if we keep trying to just run straight through into doing things and assuming, well, that's just gonna lead to bad things. Don't assume. Ask. And I'm sure that was maybe the lesson that was gonna be taught, but, like, the thing is, like, when they reach the lava tide things, these creatures are like, Wildfire sucks because she was doing, like, she was being a jerk and pulling pranks on our people. They decide to stay there, and they're like, we'll clean up so long as you help give us the dragon cores afterward and apologize. So they do, and then Wildfire is kind of like begrudgingly doing it. She's like, I don't want to clean up, or why are we doing this? And Kai's trying to teach her manners, but she just reluctantly agrees. The only thing that I really think she learned from was not to burn people. And I'm like, wow, hooray, we made it full circle. I want to like her so bad, but something about her feels off. It feels like I assumed I knew who she was, but then the writers completely pulled the rug under my feet, and I'm like, okay, now I have no idea who she is, and if I was even right in the first place. I don't know. So, when Wildfire doesn't burn the Lava Tide's hands, the Lava Tides then immediately throw the core into a pit as a prank! And I just want to be done. I'm like, why? Alright then, fine, sure. As a prank. Why not? Why not? Wildfire literally helped clean your place, and you're just like, prank! Ah, ah ha ha ha. And I'm like, okay. Streamlabs, come on. Yeah, the lava tides are freaking Muppet rocks, bruh. What on earth are they supposed to be? And, just a small question. First Spinjitzu Master, you entrusted Muppet rocks to protect the dragon cores? You entrusted random snail people who are afraid of salt to protect the dragon cores? I don't know who is responsible for the third one, but Why them particular people? Sure you didn't think I was paying attention, did you? I don't know, man. The first Ninjago Master gets a lot of people to do his bidding. And so long as they're, they blindly follow him and accept him and stuff, then there's no problems. Dog, I'm still not done with this first headshot. I don't know if I'm gonna get the other ones done. I've been talking a lot, so I apologize. I don't know if I have any other art besides the J. Yeah, I don't. Wait, no, I do, but I'm saving that for the last bit. Well, that tells you how much I was inspired artistically from this part. Not a lot, actually. I barely got any art done compared to part 1. So that's unfortunate. Oh, well, now I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I thought I'd have more to showcase. But I guess I don't. I don't know, man. I also didn't want to force myself to make art either because I hate it when I have to do that. And most of the time if I force myself to make art, it's like disingenuous or something. Or like it's not as cool or good as it could be. I don't know. So I try not to do that, but at the same time, I still want to make content for the stream. I don't want to just be like, I don't want to just have nothing. I do have certain, like, plans for other content, though, that I did plan. Actually, one of those plans, and I may as well just tell you guys on stream now, one of those plans was for a kind of webcomic or something, like, not a webcomic, but more like just a fully fledged comic with panels and everything, not just the square comics, about Wildfire. And now that we're on the topic of her, I may as well just share it. So, I've already expressed that I didn't really understand who Wildfire really was. I thought I did, but, I wanted to make a comic that kind of justifies why she's staying with the ninja and not, going back to the wildness to live her happy life that she originally was. And also to kind of, allow her to be able to leave the wildness with no ties attached to her. And this was a comic that I named it Deactivate. And it is a small comic. I think I have the script on me. Let me look at it. Here it is. I don't know when I'll ever finish this, by the way. It may be a while, because it's a fully fledged comic. But it's called Deactivate. And this is completely headcanon, but it takes place in the wildness, and the nanny bot kind of comes to Wildfire in the morning one day, and she's like, Wildfire, there's something I need to tell you. And Wildfire's like, yes. And then the nanny bot's like, today my caregiver program will be complete. You are now old enough to sustain yourself all on your own. Because, I don't know how old Wildfire is. I know they consider her still a kid. But if she's like 16, dog, people have been out and about at 16, getting jobs, living on their own, sustaining themselves. So, I assume that the nanny bot, the caregiver program, maybe it's supposed to end at a specific time. So, the bot is just like, you're not old enough to sustain yourself. And Wildfire is at first like, huh? What? And the bot's like, you see, I was programmed to take care of you when you were, like, a child. But now you're not a child anymore. So, you can take care of yourself now. And Wildfire's like, what are you saying? And he's like, I am saying my job is complete. I will be deactivating soon. And Wildfire at first is like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? And the bot is like, deactivate, to make something inactive, to disconnect it, to shut down. And she's like, shut down? Why shut down? What's the matter? And she's like, nothing's the matter. My programming is complete. I will be deactivating. And she's like, what does that mean? Are you going to come back? And the bot's kind of like silent for a minute. And the bot's like, no, the program cannot be undone. This is what I was built to do. And at first, Wildfire is like, what? No, don't go. Don't deactivate. Don't do that. You don't need to deactivate. I still need you. And the caregiver bot's like, really? Because at this point in time in Wildfire's life, she's not being taught anything. She doesn't need to be taught anything else, at least. She's able to sustain herself now. And not only that, but Heatwave is able to keep her company. So the robot can only do so much. And Wildfire then thinks to herself, and that's when the caregiver bot's like, listen, there comes a time in human lives where they're meant to evolve to a place that they can care for themselves. You were unable to do that when you were a child, but now you've reached the stage where you're able to. And this is the best stage you can reach in your life, because now that means you can live for yourself. And at first Wildfire's like, well, what if I want you in my life? And that's when the caregiver bot's like, I already have been and will always be through your memories. And that's when the bot just starts to like deactivate, and Wildfire's like, wait, I'm not ready. And the caregiver bot is like, don't worry, you will be. And that's when it ends. A part of me was like, I wonder if this is heartless, because like, you know, who would program the caregiver, like who would program the bot to just disappear? Well, in reality, I don't really know who made the caregiver bot. In fact, I feel like the caregiver bot deactivating and letting Wildfire know in advance feels better than Wildfire just straight up abandoning the caregiver bot. So, and not only that, but this makes Wildfire have this really strong sense of protection to people that she cares about. Because, as far as she knows, the one family member that she had in her life at the time deactivated. And maybe to Wildfire, deactivation is like the equivalent or to death or something. So she's like, she kind of doesn't know how to process it at first, and learns to maybe grieve over time. So when she hears that Lloyd is trying to save his family, later when they meet each other, and not only that, but when she hears that the ninja themselves are trying to protect the world and save other families, she feels obligated to join. And now she doesn't have any ties. She doesn't need to go back to she doesn't need to go back to the wildness. She can join the ninja fully, and she completely understands their job, at least, of trying to protect families. She may not know how to do it necessarily, but that's all she knows how to do, you know, to protect family. So that was the idea of the script. I still kind of have to refine it in certain areas. It was kind of a hashed out idea. But that's one of the comics that I had planned. At least to justify why she didn't go back to the nanny bot. I could imagine maybe a conversation with her and Aaron at one point. I don't know when this would take place, but like her and Aaron could maybe be talking or something, and Aaron's talking about his family and how he misses them, and she's like, did they deactivate? And he's like, what? No, what do you mean by that? But then that could be a bonding experience, I guess. I don't even know if they talk to each other that much, if they bonded off screen or anything like that. I don't know, but I feel like Wildfire and Aaron could at least relate to each other on the sense that they want to protect each other's families. That could be nice. I've never seen them interact before, but you know, I thought about that, so I still have to think about the concept, but yeah, that was an idea that I had. I also had another comic idea, but I'm going to share it a little later. Right now, we got to get down back to the plot. Let's see. So, Wildfire wants to leave. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I just jumped into this script just on that. Wildfire wants to leave. Let me think. As soon as they drop the core, Wildfire wants to leave. And, Kai's like, wait, don't go. Can you lead to try and get the core back? And I'm like, dog, what? What do you mean lead? Lead what? What? Why? She has not done anything to prove that she could lead anything right now. She's still angry and like still rude and what? You want her to lead? I lost my mind at that point. I was like, okay, no. I don't know what's happening anymore, and quite frankly, I don't care. I literally skipped that part and just went straight into when they got the core back. So, I don't know what could happen during that part. I can't think of any other alternative, unfortunately, because I just don't really have the energy. So, yeah, they get the core back, but that's when the Magic Man Dorama shows up, and he's like, wait a minute, I'm gonna stall you guys and fight you guys for a time. And then they cut away while the fight's going on to doing something else. And I'm like, what? Why are we cutting away right now? This seems important. Stay here. Why are we cutting away? Fine, whatever. They cut away, and then they come back, and Dorama, like, attacks Heatwave or something, and he gets like badly injured. They manage to escape with the core, I think, but then, you know, oh no, Heatwave's in trouble. He's hurt. What the heck? Oh, don't tell me Clip Studio Paint crashed. You know what? If it crashed, I'm gonna open it up again, dog. Did Clip Studio Paint just crash again? No. Well, I hope so it was about motivating her. Hold up. I think Clip Studio Paint crashed. I'm gonna wait and see if it loads up again, but if it crashed, I'm gonna just close out the program and open it up again and see what happens. Okay, well, gee! Hold on, let me see if... Everything should still be there. Yep. The side-by-side is there. That's good. Yay! Oh, no. Some of the progress got a little lost, but that's okay. Not too much. Yes, the app crashed. I know. Good job. You failed at your job. Alright, well, I mean... Everything's still relatively there, I guess. Wait, no, never mind. Wow! Okay, and the color history's all gone, too. So I have no idea what the color is of the highlights. That's okay, I'll just fix it. Anyway, I'm not gonna stop. I'm still going. Yeah, art tears, real. Okay, so what was I doing? I lost my train of thought because everything just exploded on Clip Studio Paint as per usual with this stupid app. But they go and get the core at least, but then Heatwave gets hurt or something, and that's really the more important part of this next part. Heatwave is hurt and he's dying from some kind of strange burn or something. So, Kai... This part made me die of laughter. But, yeah, CSP does have a recovery mode. Like, the stuff's still there, technically speaking. But not everything got saved. I'm not sure why, but... Yeah, I guess it didn't save the last interval. Anyway, Let me look. Wah! So Kai walks out into the wilderness and breaks some stones to find blue gemstones that he can turn into healing ointment for Heatwave. And he claims he was taught this by Master Wolf. What do you mean? What on earth? Alright, so I have an abundance of questions. one, it was confirmed that the wildness is a different realm. So why on earth would Master Wu have this information of these strange rocks in this other realm that can be turned into a specific ointment? And Master Wu having this information is one thing, but saying it to Kai is another thing. What purpose could he have with that information? Unless it's for this specific moment, of course. Like, he's just like, oh, Kai, by the way, there's a very specific rock with a very specific gemstone that can be turned into a very specific ointment to heal a very specific wound in a very specific realm. No, I don't know what else to say at this point. Very strange. That was very strange. And Kai does this because, you know, Wildfire's like, we gotta save Heatwave, what are you doing? And he doesn't say anything until, like, the literal last moment. So I'm like, I don't know who's playing themselves more. Kai for not saying anything? Kai for knowing this information? I don't understand anymore. Ooh, background more contrast. Good idea. I do have like this, yeah. I have a thing where, once I finish a, drawing, I'm gonna start a new correction layer and use that to adjust things. I did that with the frohickey, headshot, because I noticed that when I finish art, it seems weirdly desaturated when I export it, so I try to, like, saturate it more. But instead of trying to adjust the entire image, I just use correction layers. It's neat, but anyway. So, yeah. Kai tells Wildfire to be patient for the healing to be complete, and he teaches her how to do yoga movements to bring her peace while they wait. I guess this is, like, the only thing that I saw that I was like, I like it? Question mark? I guess this is nice. I mean, I guess he's just trying to teach her to be relaxed and not to think too hard about it. I did kind of go, wait, why do you know this? When he referenced, like, when Nia was lost to the sea, Master Wu taught him to do these things, and I was like, no, he didn't. You were out there teaching children how to obliterate their enemies before they see you coming. What do you mean you were doing yoga practices? You were doing yoga moves. Was that helpful to you? Did you think they worked? And if you're just being a hypocrite and, like, saying, oh, it'll work for you, but it didn't work for me, which is why I didn't do it. Like, I don't know, man. I fine, whatever. I'll take it at face value. I guess it was a nice scene, and I'll let it stay as that. Before Kai left to teach the kids? If it was before, that makes him not remembering these yoga lessons and not putting them more into practice even worse. Because it's like, Kai, why are you teaching kids to obliterate the enemy? Calm down. But, you know, okay. So, when Heatwave heals after like 5 minutes, so they leave, but then they realize the core was a fake! And I'm like getting Seabound flashbacks when something similar happened. And I'm like, oh, well gee, we're doing this again. Alright. Let me look at the... I think that was it for those two before everybody gets back together. So I think we can just move on now to Nia and Sora. We're almost done, so... Alright. Trying to find the part where I start doing it. Where's the notes? Ah! Oh, MP, I use something called a grunge dot effect. Like, I don't know if I can pull it up right now because Clip Studio Paint might crash again on me because every time I use the brush, it goes slow. But it's called the grunge dot or the halftone effect. And you can, like, look that up on Clip Studio Paint, the assets store. You should find something similar. It helps. So, Nia and Sora, let me look for the notes. Alright, so they're going to some place called the Pinnacle of Crystals. I don't know where this place is. It seems like a new realm, right? So, when they get there, Nia's like, when I was in the Cloud Kingdom area, I picked up some Bejeweled things. We're gonna play some Bejeweled in order to find what we're looking for. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Sora starts ranting to her about not being good enough and everything always going wrong for her, and she's a black cloud or something like that. She's like a curse or something. And I'm like, this is odd. I mean, what do you mean everything's always going wrong for you? You mean everything's going wrong for you ever since you got your powers? Because, well, ever since when you didn't have your powers, you seemed rather okay with everything. Plus, even with your powers, I find it hard to believe nothing's going right for you, because when you had your powers, when they were first awakened in you, you knew what to do to build a flying mech in midair. But don't think I forgot about that, alright? I don't know, I was like, okay, this is an interesting arc, but you know what, I don't really feel like trying to argue with the show anymore, with having character arcs for the new characters that don't make sense with what we knew about them already. Like, I don't know, man. But at least Nia's a good role model, at least trying to uplift her, being like, failures and setbacks aren't something to be ashamed of, and I was like, yes. See, Nia, of all people, can at least be the one to voice that, because she has had the long end of the stick of that. She's understood that, and she's come to peace with that now, and I'm like, okay, finally, geez, some continuity. I just wish they made it last a little longer and favored more emotional beats instead of jokingly shrugging stuff off. Like, you know, Nia's just like, it's just a setback. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And like, why not have like a scene where Sora is sitting down and Nia is like, hey, what's the problem? And maybe they could talk about relating to having lost control of abilities or something. I don't know. That seems more like a nitpick, though. At least we got the bare minimum in the show, so I'm not gonna complain. So, Nia starts mentioning the Jinn in the tomb that they're in right now, and I was like, why? And then I did a fact check, and I was like, is the Pinnacle of Crystals a place in Ninjago? Or is this a Jinn temple? Nobody said anything. I really don't think anybody said anything. So they just started randomly talking about Jinn. And I was like, what? Why? That feels weirdly out of place, but okay, the Jinn. Let's talk about the Jinn now. Wow. It's been a while since we talked about Skybound in this show, huh? Mainly because every time the writers want to talk about Skybound, they refuse to because, you know, talking about Skybound is forbidden in the show for some reason. I mean, heck, that's why we don't talk about Echo Zane. That's why we don't talk about Mr. E. That's why we don't talk about literally anything else. And that's just, bruh. But hey, we're bringing it up now, so yay, finally. I don't know how much of this is going to be playing out, though. Vina being unconcerned with the Jinn got me heated. Real! I'm about to talk about that, but I'm like, shouldn't you be having PTSD? Like, I get it. Maybe if the other ninja learned about the Jinn, they wouldn't know how bad it is because they don't remember. But Nia does. Nia freaking died in the timeline. Let's not forget. She died, canonically. If anything, I feel like she should be treating this a little more seriously. Just a little bit more. But okay, sure. Let's just get over it. They play Bejeweled incorrectly, and they get cursed. So, I had a full-on argument with someone. I remember having a full-on argument with someone about the Howlers and about the wishing rule. Because later, and this is kind of, I guess, a spoiler, I don't know. Ericor is going to get motivated to use his wish magic again, and he needs Nia and Sora to wish for him to help. And Sora wishes that Ericor helps to kick the Howler's butt. Word for word, that's what she said. So, in response, Ericor spawns in some he spawns in some daggers or something, and he starts to attack them. And I was like, isn't that against one of the wishing rules? You can't wish for death or harm upon someone. Anything. And the person responding was like, well, technically the Howlers aren't living beings. They're not creatures. They're not real. They're part of a curse. They are the physical embodiment of the curse. They're not alive. And I was like, but they are alive. They're the physical embodiment of something that makes them living. They're part of the physical plane. That makes them living. That makes them a being. That means you're breaking the rules. But then the person was like, no, that's not what alive means. And I was like, dog, look it up. Eventually, I got to the place where I was like, you know what? You're right. I just figured that Sora and Nia, when they were physically attacking the Howlers, kicking them, punching them, I just thought they were part of the physical plane and therefore alive. My bad. And they responded with, yeah, that's what I thought. And I was like, huh? I just straight up left after that. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to explain the concept of living in this right now, but yeah. He broke the rules, so I assumed Ericor was just some absolutely overpowered djinn beast or something. Does that mean in Skybound somebody could have made a wish that would have hurt Cole? Probably. Probably. And you know what? The funniest thing about that wish thing, too, is that Sora asks, help kick these guys' butts, and he starts doing it, and then Nia is like, I wish them for them to be gone, and then he just immediately poofs them out of existence, and I'm like, dog, why didn't you start with that? Why did we have to make him fight them? We didn't need to, we're wasting time. Whatever, I just laughed at that, because I was like, bruh, why didn't you start with that? But anyway, yeah, they're talking about djinns. They play Bejeweled incorrectly. They got the Howlers to come at them. And I'll be real, the Howlers are dope looking, but they're not as important as I thought they were going to be. Like, when we saw them in the teaser, so many people assumed that the Howler looking creature was going to be like a main character or something. And it turned out it was just forced conflict. And I was like, well, darn it, that's disappointing. Oh well, there's a lot of disappointments in this show, unfortunately. Yeah, I love your art of the Howlers, though. Real talk. I want to draw the Howlers at some point, but man, it just felt so disappointing that they weren't actually important. But anyways, they get this mark on their hands now, and now they're cursed to be attacked forever, so yeah. So they retreat, and then they find Ericor, the djinn, living inside this empty, like, cave or something. Now, Ericor, oh my gosh, we're gonna talk about him now. I don't know how to feel about this man, this whole thing. So first off, Ericor knows Sora the Dragon's real name, Xanth. And I was like, wait, what? Xanth is the name of the... How do you know this? Were there dragons in Ninjago? And is that where Sora the Dragon Xanth comes from? Like, what? That's crazy. But, yeah, okay. I don't know. Xanth, I mean, at least now we can call the dragon something else. But, like, personally, I had this headcanon, and I don't know if I mentioned it last stream, but I was like, what if Sora gave her old name to the dragon as symbolism to mend, I guess, or take care of the inner child that she used to be, that was abused and mistreated and used. She could name the dragon that. I don't know. I that was just a quick headcanon though. I just assumed that was... No, it's just the dragon's name is Xanth now. What does Xanth mean? I don't know. At least the name Sora had a meaning. It's not a good meaning, but it's a meaning. But yeah, like, the name Sora means orphan, I think, in, like, Imperium language. And I was just like, well, I don't think that's much of a empowering name as you think it is, Sora. You want to be called Sora? Like, the name that means orphan, and the name that originates from the worst town known to mankind. Alright, fine, whatever. Moving on. I'm done talking about it. Xanth is the dragon's real name. Ericor somehow can speak dragon. So, yeah. So, Ericor is the last Jin. Ninjago is completely gone. Nothing left except a grain of sand in his tiny little thing. And I was like, what? What? Wait. Stop, don't you do it. Don't question it. When did you return to Ninjago? Dang it, I can't help myself. I think I finished Gio's headshot, by the way. Let me check. There's Ericor. Ericor, Gio. Alright, now we got Cole and Jay. I don't think I'm gonna finish Cole and Jay on this stream right now. I don't know how long this is gonna take me, but I'm already really tired, and I'm almost done with the script, so maybe I'll start with Cole, but... Those are the headshots, by the way, that I had. I didn't show you guys them. Oops. But let's go back to Ericor. Let's look at Ericor a little bit. This guy... Alright, so when did he return to Ninjago? Apparently he was on some multiversal expedition or something when he left, and then he came back and everything was gone. And I'm like... You can't tell me that a single grain of sand was all that was left. If that's the case, when you went back to Ninjago, you'd just be seeing the void with a single grain of sand floating around in the wind. Like, no, there was more, but you just didn't check. You just grabbed a piece of sand. Also, if you returned to Ninjago after the merge, or if after the merge anything was going on, how did you find that grain of sand? Did you just, like, meander, and then you're like, yes, the sand here is made of sand, and you just decided to keep it? Like, I don't know, man. It was just making me think a lot more than I should. That is a very specific grain of sand. But, yeah, it's a very important plot device. It'll come up in a little bit. So, just wait. I'll talk about it. So they're being hunted by howlers, and he's like, oh my gosh, you're bringing the howlers to my house? What the heck, man? They can only be stopped with Jin magic, but I haven't used Jin magic in a long time. So, you know, I was like, oh, alright, I see where this is going. We need to teach him the power of friendship and hope in order to save the day. So, when the howlers come, he's like, I guess hiding or something, and he's just like, just quit, it's so much easier. And Sora's like, you've never met a ninja, they never quit. And I'm like, okay, alright, well, you know, I'm not gonna get super into it. Why, when she said that, for some reason I cringed a little bit, because I was like, I don't think you really understand the whole saying of ninja never quit in this instance. Like, I know people are probably like, that's just a cheesy, corny tagline. There's nothing, it's just a reference, you know? I take that saying so seriously. I take it so seriously because the characters in the past, the whole ninja never quit thing, it means something more. It's not just, ninja never quit, that's like a reoccurring thing. No. It's a lot more than just a simple tagline. And I think Sora just has yet to learn that, maybe? But her saying that was just like, do you care? Or do you know what that means? Do you understand the impact that ninja never quit truly means? Or are you just making a joke? I mean, I guess most of the writers are treating Ninjago's legacy as a joke. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past her, but still, that just made me a little disappointed. I was like, I don't know anymore. Do people care about, like, do the writers themselves take their story and their legacy seriously? Or do they just want to treat it like a joke? I don't know. I can't tell anymore, and it's starting to kind of feel, like, painful to watch. Like, I don't know, the people who are writing the show now weren't even on the main team when the show was first conceptualized. So, Tommy and Drayson is gone, the Hageman brothers are gone, Braggy Schutt, who is responsible for, like, most of the Wildbrain era, is also gone. So, like, everyone is gone. I don't really see the people who are working on the show now had some experience, but their experience was Secrets of Forbidden Spijitzu, which, if you don't know, I really don't like that season, but yeah. Well, either way, I don't know. Yeah. I'm getting tired now. I gotta finish this up. So I'll just leave that at there. Sora is just like trying to motivate Ericor, and she's like, hope is like a wish. So, you know, that ties into what was going on because something, I don't know. I'm trying to, hold on. I don't know what I want to do right now. Do I want to do the next headshot? I don't think I'm going to finish it on stream, but I'll try. Why there are dragons in different realms and why their powers are different? Alright, I'll bite. Honestly, I'm down for anything at least. I don't really... Yeah. I don't think Ninjago itself really understands its own thing, so I'm down to hear what other people have to say. Streamlabs, stop that! Okay, so, I already talked about the whole wishing thing. I already talked about Ericor breaking the wish rules and beating up the Howlers, and they saved the day. So, because, Ericor got that motivation and his wish magic back, the little sand thing in his, necklace gets bigger. And he's like, with enough wish magic, I can recreate my land. And I was like, you can do what? Wow, that sounds really... You can do that? I don't know if this paints Nauticon in a more jerkish light. It might, but if you could just do wish magic in the presence of Ninjago's land, then Nauticon seeing all of Ninjago fall apart was as easy as making more wishes and saving the lamb. Heck, maybe this paints his father in a stupid light, because his father was just letting the land fall apart, instead of, you know, using wish magic to keep it up. I do not understand. And, yeah, I'm too tired to try. So just know that, this man is probably just gonna recreate all of Ninjago and probably gonna be the leader, but, yeah, that exists now. And frankly, unless and this makes it worse too, but unless the wish magic also allows him to recreate more Jin, he's just gonna be all alone. Right. I mean, maybe he couldn't remake the realm. Yeah, maybe he can't remake the realm in its entirety, but he can recreate something. And again, the whole making other Jin thing. What about that? Are you gonna make the other Jin? Yeah, I know we hate Skybound. Skybound sucks, but like at least the character writing was good in it. At least I appreciated Nauticon and the arc that Jay went through in the story. Like, I feel like that's not enough to just completely disregard what came before it. And if you will, at least make it interesting, man. Make it cool. Alright, well, I'm gonna keep going. I really need to get to the point of what I want to say, because there is something important that I really want to share with you guys. And I'm gonna timestamp this once the stream is over, because, yeah. I know, Skybound does not suck, and I don't care if people think that's a weird hill to die on. I think Skybound is great. People should stop hating on it so much. Alright, but anyway, I put on the notes, this whole show feels like a bunch of one-shots strung together with an open-world video game concept, with side quests that don't really pertain to the lore too much. I was like, well, dang. I don't think that's entirely accurate now. I was just being mad, but... Okay, so I think now we're done with... wait, no, sorry. Sora and Nia used the freaking... What did he give them? A compass? A magic compass or something? And the magic compass leads them to the land of lost things. Okay, so here we go. We're now with Cole. We're now with Gio. We're now with the whole debacle. I have a question. And this is why I was wondering the whole thing about who was the leader or the protector of the third Dragon Core. Somehow Imperium managed to get their hands on a Dragon Core and use it for whatever the machine was that was warding off that thing that they fought earlier. So, you know, that seems kind of a little important. But they just kind of gloss over that a lot. They're like, oh, Imperium had a Dragon Core in their possession. I don't know who or when this was made, who was in charge when it was made. I don't know. I feel like having a Dragon Core, though, when Beatrix was in power, maybe that would have been important to her. But sure, let's throw it in a land of lost things, which is basically just one big dumpster for Imperium. So the land of lost things isn't another realm, it's just a part of Imperium. So... the Hoarder, yeah, that's what it was called, bruh. Let me go to... Alright. So, Cole is back. He's been working with a mixed gecko named Gio, who's the Elemental Master of Fusion. And you know what? Out of all the elements that have been revealed in this show, Fusion seems the least stupid. Like, okay, this seems like it could make sense in isolation. I would only have, like, a few world-building questions, like... was there ever a past Fusion Master? What can you do with fusion other than fusing items together? Could you fuse living beings together? That seems kind of terrifying to think about, but that's really all I have. So I was like, oh, well, I guess it wasn't that bad of questioning, and I know I'm probably not going to get the answers to this, because I don't know if we'll see Gio again, because Cole literally just leaves. He just leaves. And that's it. I don't even know if we're going to see the Land of Lost Things again. He just leaves. We'll talk about that when we get there, but... what? Oh no. The theories of what? Like, fusion seems like it'd fall under the same category of elemental powers like speed, gravity, time. Because they affect, like, a law of physics, I guess. I don't know. I don't really like the elements of speed, gravity, or time to begin with, because they frick up a lot of things with the lore, but... why not? At least it's somewhat sensible. At least there's something. I would be curious, though, what his true potential would look like. What does he do? Just fuse the world together? Boy, howdy. That seems kind of like... That seems like it would be quite useful. What fusion dragon? Gosh, you're right. What does a fusion dragon look like? What does a fusion dragon do? That's weird. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. Wasn't that a thing in Hands of Time? Like you could fuse dragons together? Like... my brain. Bruh. Alright, you know what? Yeah. Okay, never mind. His element does cause some problems with the lore. Dang it, I thought we were in the clear. Well, anyway, so here's a little small thing that I thought was really dumb and silly in this part. So, Cole thought that this new rock form that he has came from him working together with Gio. Like, they do, like, this weird, like, hand clap thing or something, and that makes Cole have his form or something. But, plot twist, turns out it was actually Cole all along, and Gio just wasn't actually doing anything. And I was like, what was the point of the handshake thing? What were you doing? Yeah. the whole reason for that was to be like an arc or something for Sora, where it's like, Sora, wait a minute, the elemental power, it's inside you. It's always been inside you. You don't need Ryu. And I'm like, wait a minute, we already know this. Because in part 1, when she was confronted by those soldiers, Rapton gave her a chance to, like, use her powers or something. And her hands, like, for a split second, it did glow. She didn't do anything, but that told me, oh, yeah, okay, so she has power. Alright, cool. Why? I don't get it. Why do you need to be taught this? We already know! And that just makes Cole and Gio's little power thing look stupid, because it's like, what is the point? You weren't doing anything. What were you doing? Just give each other a high five and then move on? Like, okay. Whatever. He's been protecting this place called the Land of Lost Things from this thing called the Hoarder, which turns out to be a tiny, harmless blob that is really just a janitor or something. And it's meant to, like, suck up random junk and stuff, but it slowly turned into a big old monster. How that translates into the monster being violent and attacking people, I'm not sure. Because, well, if the blob was really just a janitor, why would the blob have any forms of defense mechanisms built into it? Why would it, like, throw coal at one point? Like, what? Why would it do that if it's just a harmless blob janitor? Tech Dragon! Welcome to Ninjago Dragons Rising, where we give people random elemental powers because it's cool, not because it makes sense. You seem like people who appreciate cool stuff that's cool for no reason. If you don't get that reference, that's okay. I know some people might, but... Well, anyway, I am certainly not the kind of person who appreciates cool stuff that's cool for no reason. I like cool things because they make sense, not because... Ooh, cool factor. Anyway, more padding out the runtime, I guess, because this whole fight scene was just to get the dragon... We needed to figure out a way to, like, defend the land from the Hoarder, but without the machine or something. But then Sora, like, gets the blob out of the mech and is like, oh, don't worry, guys, it's just a little tiny harmless blob. It didn't do anything. And that's where I'm like, oh. Well, then what is the point of us trying to build a machine? Is that machine just gonna be pointless now? You know, why do I even bother giving insight anymore? I'm confused. Every time I watch this show, I get confused. And, yeah. There's way too much padding going on. Ninjago didn't used to be like this, I promise. So then, yeah, Cole and Nia depart. And I guess this is one instance where I was like, this seems emotional. They brought out the emotional music from the past show. But yeah, it was Cole being like, I heard Master Wu's voice. I must follow. And Nia's like, you're right. Every time you hear Master Wu's voice, you follow. And I'm like, no, you don't. Please don't. This man has done the most questionable things. I highly doubt what he's leading you towards will be anything of your benefit. But sure, fine, whatever. We need to get Cole out of the way. Remember, he's not a character anymore. Also, why the frick did you just leave Gio and the kids, man? Like, I feel like you said goodbye, but I don't really know. And you just up and left. Alright then. I thought they were buds. But you just left. Why do people keep leaving each other in this show? Alright, well, he just leaves, and I don't know when he's coming back. And I don't think he is coming back, frankly. I don't think Season 2 is even going to bring him back, unless it's for, like, maybe in some far, obscure season, they'll bring him back for, like, a big endgame special or something, and be like, look, guys, it's Cole, he's back, aren't you excited? I ain't going to be there for that. I don't want to. But anyway, I think that's it. I think wait, no, that's not it of the story, obviously, but like, that's it of everybody being separated. So now we're back. The team is back. Hooey! That was the worst. It was painful. So much, like, it was hard to keep track of everything that was going on. It was difficult. It was painful. And now we're back together. Except Sora and Nia haven't come back yet. But everybody else did, and they're like, well, what are we gonna do? Oh, wait, no, I forgot something. I completely forgot. Zane, what he's been up to. I forgot. It never ends. Okay, so, I did write down a few things of what Zane's been doing. Although, I'm gonna be real, I did enjoy his, like, dynamics with, Frohickey. I liked their interactions. At the very least, it was Frohickey who was, like, kind of a fan of the ninja, and he respected the ninja at the very least, and I'm like, oh, finally. And he just wanted to get to know, I guess, the ninja more. And now that he's helping them, it feels like, you know, he's gonna be there to help him out. He gave, like, Zane a bucket of ice or something. He's like, I want to help the ice master. Here's a bucket of ice. And he's like, I don't need a bucket of ice. Thank you, but I don't need a bucket of ice. And he's like, darn it, I can't believe I tried giving him a bucket of ice. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, not gonna lie. I mean, he wouldn't know. He's only heard legends about the ninja. So he's just now trying to actually get connected to one of them. So it's nice. I do know that, Zane is trying his best to find Pixel. And I was like, oh boy, some emotion, finally. And then it gets turned into a joke. Because he's talking to the picture, and at first I was like, oh, that's a little sweet. And then he puts the picture on a broom, and he starts talking to the broom, and it's starting to get a little uncomfortable. And I think the point of that was to make you laugh or something, like, look how far gone he is. And I'm like, is that supposed to be funny? Yeah, where's Pixel? I hope she's okay. I don't think she's coming back, though, considering how they're treating the OG ninja right now. Considering how they're treating anyone that's an OG, I really don't believe she's gonna come back. And that makes me depressed. And then I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many other people that I completely forgot about. Kai, Nia, where are your parents? Ray and Maya, are they okay? Like, Cole, where's your dad? Jay, what about your parents? Where's everybody's parents? Are they okay? We're probably never going to know. I just, as soon as I thought about that, I was like, you know what, dog? I can't do this anymore. Why do I want to stick around for a show that's not going to give me answers? The regular show already did that to me. I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to stick around and keep that up. That just... Oy. Anyway, let me save that for a little later right now. So, Zane is like, we need a special part to open up the door or something. And Frohickey's like, we could check the junkyard with Creel. And I'm like, oh my gosh, not Creel. If anyone's curious, I have not made a headshot for Creel, and I never will. I do not like her design. Her color palette makes me want to... Who thought mixing green and pink together as a gradient was a good idea? Also, I just don't like her as a character. She just seems annoying, and frankly, I don't think it's worth my time. So, they go to the junkyard. They go to the junkyard, and Creel is like, no, you need money to do that. So they enter a racist competition. I'm not joking. Like, the competition is about Zane or something, because there's like a Zane Day or something. They're all having a memorial, not a memorial, but like a day to respect Zane. But everybody's just racist. They like assume how Zane talks, how Zane looks, how Zane works, and even Zane himself is like, this is offensive. And I'm like, what the heck? What? Are you kidding me? Why are they being racist? This is Zane, one of the world's greatest protectors. Why are you disrespecting him like this? And why the frick did he lose? I don't understand why people didn't recognize him. Especially Chancellor Gulch. They brought back him, right? He didn't recognize Zane. And I'm like, dog, you've been with him. You know who he is. What do you mean he's not Zane? I get it was for the joke, but like, this is awful. And Zane somehow goes through a freaking identity crisis after he loses. Like, okay. You know, I'm gonna drink real quick. My throat hurts. Yeah, I was cringing the entire time too. Racism. Yep. There's a lot of people who's racist in Ninjago for some reason. Frohickey then comes in and is like, you don't have to have an identity crisis. You are Zane. You know who you are. And I'm like, based Frohickey. He knows Zane. He knows who he is. At the very least, I thought that was neat, but still, it came at the cost of everyone's sanity. And I'm like, I've seen better. I hate it. Why? This isn't even emotionally charged either. This doesn't seem important. They get the gift card or something to buy the machine part, but that doesn't even matter because then Zane gets kidnapped by the administration. So what was the point of any of this? Couldn't Zane just get kidnapped by the administration and be on with our days? Why did we need to do any of this? It was all for just the pointless silly gags. This show's emotional meter is not mature enough to watch Blue's Clues. I can't take this. At least Frohickey was like the one bearable thing. He's just doing his best to be a good worker, and I thought that was kind of wholesome. Yeah, jokes are barely so prepared to when I watch it. Yeah. I mean, you can still watch it. I'm not gonna go around telling people don't watch Dragons Rising. It's the worst thing ever. Like, people have their own, opinions about things and their, like, their enjoyment levels. Like, I'm not gonna take that away from you, and I certainly won't say, oh, you suck for liking this show. That seems rude. Like, listen, I grew up my whole life being bullied by people who saw that I liked Minecraft and Ninjago. Because back then, in like the early 2015s, if you said you liked Ninjago, you were the scum of the earth. I'm happy now that people are like looking back on Ninjago fondly, and there's so many memes of Ninjago nowadays. Like, I'm happy that that's the case. But I remember literally being scared so much to just talk to people because they thought I was stupid for watching this show. So if you actually genuinely enjoyed watching the show, I'm not gonna hate you. I don't hate anybody who watches the show and enjoys it. You are your own person and you enjoy what you like. I think my qualms with the show is that I've seen Ninjago not be like this before. I don't know. So it kind of just hurts as an OG, if you will, to see the show do this. While it may be entertaining to some, it's not entertaining to all. And it used to be. So I don't know. If that's a criticism for the show, I don't know. I guess, but true. There's never really a good time to bring it up, to be honest, that I like Ninjago, so I don't really do it too much, but still, when I did, I was so lonely, and I don't want to subjugate anyone to that, even now, to this day. If you like Dragons Rising, I would never want to subjugate you to bullying, cyberbullying, to hate. That just seems pointless. That's not my problem with the show, and that's not what I'm here to do. So, real. I I do find it a bit hard to defend this show, though, especially to people who actively hate the show for being just a goofy Lego show that you shouldn't take seriously. Because, in reality, I can't take it seriously. There's way too much jokes, way too much, like, lack of consistency in plot and character. It's kind of hard to defend the show when it's kind of making jokes in and of itself. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Oh no, I said the line. All right, so let's finish this up. I gotta go soon, so. Let me see where we are. Zane got kidnapped by the. Oh, by the way, I did want to bring this up in the administration place. Sorry, in the administration place, Zane was like communicating to Lloyd and Aaron through like messages or something, cryptic messages, being like, follow this way, go that way, and then they find him, and they're like, oh great, you found me. And then Zane just starts to ask, wait, if you didn't know I was here, why did you start following the messages? And I'm like, what, you sent them, and not only that, but he was like, who did you think was sending the messages? And they're like, we don't know, it was a mystery. And he's like, you shouldn't be following cryptic messages. And I'm like, dog, why didn't you put your name on them then? What do you mean? Like, why are you chastising them for following cryptic messages when you yourself were sending the cryptic messages? What? I just laughed at that scene because I was like, bruh. I laughed because it was dumb, not because it was funny. And, like, if they were intentionally trying to make Zane dumb, why? That's completely against his character. My man's is the last person to be dumb. But whatever. Let's move on. Okay, so, like, Beatrix. I have some words about Beatrix. I won't be too long about these words. I'll try to make them relatively quick. She is the most B-list type villain I've ever had the displeasure of watching. I have seen better villains. And the worst part about her villainy is that she could have been amazing. She could have been super cool. But she was flat and mid, I guess, as the kids say. How do I say this? So in part 1, it seemed like she was doing good being a dictator, but like through propaganda. Of course, she was tricking all the townspeople into doing her bidding because she believed she knew best. Her mother knows best kind of thing. Straight gaslighting everybody into believing her side of the coin. Understandable. There are great villains who do the same. But when the ninja thwarted your plans and let all the dragons loose, you immediately are like, I want revenge on the ninja. And I'm like, whoa. What? My guy, your first act of power right now is to be getting more dragons. They just let all the dragons loose. That's bad. That's really bad. At least for you anyway, because that is not only your source of power, but your source of power in terms of you being the leader. People looked up to you and followed you because you gave them the best source of energy for their town. The dragons. They're gone now. You gotta get more dragons. Why are you going after the ninja in such a petty way? Like, you are holding such a petty grudge against them. And she spends her entire time in part 2 trying to kill them and one-up them. And even, like, LaRoe comes to her and is like, yo, we're having an energy crisis. And she's like, no, we're not. Go kill the ninja. We have to find the dragon cores and destroy the ninja. And I'm like, bruh. Alright then. I guess I wasn't as into you as I thought. You could have been interesting. I mean, heck, when she put out a broadcast or something earlier in part 2, it was the dumbest broadcast ever. But she was like, people of my fellow Americans, if you saw dragons escaping, no you didn't. Goodbye. And then people were like, well, I guess that's not true. We all saw it, but I'm like, dog, all you needed to say was, there were dissenters upon our land. They tried to steal away our most precious resource, but I, your lovable empress, have fought against them. Unfortunately, they escaped, and we are dealing with an energy crisis. But have no fear. I will protect you. I am your source of light. Look nowhere else. They are kind of copying season 9. Oh boy, we'll get to that in a minute. But all you had to say, Beatrix, was that. That seems more convincing than trying to gaslight people into thinking they didn't see dragons invading Dave and Buster's. Like, I lost it. Dragon Rising wishes it was on. Exactly, bruh. No. Never. There's a scene in this that is like almost one-to-one of a scene from Hunted. I so badly want to make a scene analysis and comparison, because it's like when Sora is trying to convince the entire city to rise up. It's like the same thing from Hunted where Lloyd is trying to convince the city to rise up. I was about to lose my mind because I was like, there's a reason why Hunted worked and this did not. But I don't have the time for that right now. Just know I really wanted to do that. I really wanted to make like a sort of like scene comparison or something. That's true. Exactly. So anyway, Beatrix is dumb. I thought we were talking about that. However, there was one scene that happened in the past, apparently, that did catch my attention. Not in a great way, but it did catch my attention. And it was, Beatrix killed her father in cold blood. Straight up murdered him. Or at least conspired to kill him. Man died in a horrible accident. And not only that, but she also imprisoned her sister. Who knows where Zeatrix is as of the story continuing? I don't know where she is at, but like... yeah, like a assassination. Alright, so a part of me then started comparing her to Kalmar from Seabound. But the thing is, with Kalmar and his relationship with his father versus Beatrix and her relationship with her father, we don't know much. We were never given any exposition on how she feels about her father, how her father feels about her. All we know is, like, the biased opinion of her, which is like, my father only cares about my sister. And I'm like, well, to you. But how is it really? We never saw. And unfortunately, the guy is dead, so we're not really gonna know. But the thing is, with Kalmar and his father, I appreciated that there was time to truly flesh out their differences. There was time to flesh out their hatred towards each other. That would eventually lead into Kalmar killing his father in cold blood, believing that he was right over his father. Beatrix is similar, but we don't get that build-up. So somehow a Wild Brain season managed to do better than this show, which is an achievement because Wild Brain is not that great. But yeah, I was like, okay. I mean, I guess it's cool. People will probably like fawn over the scene because violence! Oh my god! Look guys, there's violence in a Lego show! That's so cool! And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, it could have been great. It could have been really interesting. I would have liked to see how her dynamic was with her father. Was he neglectful to her because she didn't have any powers? Like, was he egotistical? Or were you just crazy, Beatrix? Or maybe was it your sister? Did your sister convince you to do these horrible things because she was the jerk? Somebody had to have pushed you to the point where you could kill your father in cold blood. And have no feelings or remorse. I don't know, man. Alright, well, I gotta speed things up, dog. I gotta leave soon. But I just wish there was more build-up. It could have been really interesting. I mean, heck, maybe there could have been a similar scene where maybe Beatrix herself saw the power of dragons, just like Roz did over time. Oh no, memory usage. Oh boy. Just like Roz did over time, and she's like, Father, we must drain the power of the dragons. And that could make him be like, no, shut up, you don't know anything. And that's what, you know, causes her to be like, well then, I'm gonna kill you so that I can prove you wrong. Something like that. I don't know. Do something. There was no build up to it. It was a weird plot twist that felt not as twisty as they thought it was going to be. So, but hey, Roz also promised to capture a dragon for her or something. I think we never got to see how he did it, but it was implied. So I'm like, dang, man, maybe you should have showed us that. Why do you keep withholding information? And yet you have, like, you can expound on stuff that doesn't matter for, like, hours. By the way, let me let you in on a little fact. Dragon's Rising Season 1 is now the longest season with a whopping 7 hours of runtime compared to every other season in the show. You've had all the time in the world to flesh out the concepts and characters, but you didn't, so. This stream's getting long. I think it's gonna beat the stream. I'm so happy that it's gone this long. But I think it's gonna beat the last Dragon's Rising discussion stream that I did. The last discussion stream I did was 2 hours and 58 minutes. Can we make it there? Well, I don't know. So let's speed up. Let's go a little faster now. So the only reason Empress Beatrix has those flashbacks is because she put Roz in prison and went down there because her invention to kill the ninja failed. And he's like, you know you need me. And then she goes, no, I don't. And then she leaves. And I'm like, what was the point of you going downstairs then? Bruh. I feel like that interaction could have been a little better. That was weird. Anyway, So the ninja get back into Imperium, and the Imperium Team Protection Force is now the good guys. They didn't have any build up to it because, well, welcome to Ninjago. This is what we do. We make bad guys who were bad guys before be good guys because the plot needs it to happen. They decided to change because like Empress Beatrix was like, if you saw dragons escaping, no you didn't. And that made them go, what? That's a lie. Why would the Empress lie? Well, gee, now we gotta go fight back against the Empress. I was like, no. I wanted to make art of this for part 1 too, but I wish there was like a scene or something where when Aaron meets up with the Teen Protection Force or something, he does this like almost How to Train Your Dragon sequence where he's like, just let me show you what dragons are really like. And then when the kids see it, they're like, well, I guess the Empress did lie about the dragons being beasts, mindless beasts and stuff like that. And then maybe Percival could be like, but we can't just free the dragons, dog. We have an energy crisis. We need the dragon's power in order to survive. Do you have an alternative of some kind? And then maybe Aaron could try to speak up, but he didn't really think that far ahead. In fact, I don't think anybody thought that far ahead. So now there's like 2 sides to this conflict. Percival can't really stop his beliefs in being close to the Empress because she has given the entire city their source of power. I mean, what are they going to do without it? There's no alternative. At least the Empress hasn't, what's the word? Like, encouraged an alternative to be thought amongst the people. So they're kind of stuck. They're kind of stumped a little bit. Really, go figure. Yeah, they're freaking immortal-like beings. I'm starting to get really tired. But let me think. So basically, at first Percival just decides to capture the dragon. And then when he sees that the Empress is like really selfish, as soon as she sees the dragon, she's like, good work, little boy, now leave. I'm busy. He kind of like starts to think about his position. And then we get to, oh, okay. Yeah, the Empress isn't such a great person. I mean, she's still gaslighting people into believing she is, but more build-up would be nice, I guess. Maybe I'm nitpicking at this point. I couldn't help but feel like it was a little rushed. The Teen Protection Force is good now, so they go underground, and they're like, Sora, you inspired us, because you left everyone, and that was inspiring. Right. So that's when we get to the whole broadcasting thing. They're like, we want to broadcast the illegal tapes that the Beatrix had, because Beatrix actually conspired to kill our last leader, and we found those tapes, and it's like crazy. So we gotta. And this was like, oh, all right, fine. Maybe the buildup was in this, because maybe it's like yeah. It's hard to believe that the Empress is bad, but then we get actual footage of her being a terrible person, so then it's like, oh shoot. Alright, now we gotta broadcast this. So I'm like, okay, that makes a little sense. And then when we get to when Sora tells everybody, we are all dragons, I'm like, what? Okay, I'm about to talk about Sora's parents in a sec, but, yo, the stream is 3 hours long. This is the longest stream. I'm almost done, I promise. Sora broadcasts the rebellion. I can't really talk about it right now, but just know that compared to the last scene, I'd rather take Hunted over this. It just feels better executed than what we got. And if a scene is better executed somewhere else, I can't really give it that much credit, especially if it didn't do all the hard work, I guess. So, Empress Beatrix creates a Merge Quake weapon to open up rifts to kill the ninja? I think? It was really confusing, but like, wait a minute. You want to kill the ninja with the power of the merge? I think? Is that what your goal was? Why do you have a rift gun? Just, why? Obviously, it was, for the sake of the conflict, obviously, and to bring the merge closer to being bad, but why a rift gun? Why not just use a regular gun and shoot the ninja when they get to your town? If you want them to die so much, why you gotta go to the extremes? I don't know. So you did? Okay. Yes, Jazzy, you can write down your theories if you like. She just wanted to use the big rift gun so that the merge quake problem that was happening earlier in the season can happen faster. Because, you know, we need more conflict in the story. What can we do? So, yeah, when she does this, and when all the people realize that the Empress was actually a scumbag, they all want to rise up, and that makes the Empress be like, you are all as bad as the ninja! And then she starts blasting people! 360 no-scoping folks off the street with a freaking rift gun! Why? Dog, you're crazy! I mean, obviously, we knew she was crazy, but, oh my gosh. And this is where things start getting messed up with Sora's parents. Because Sora's parents confront Sora while she's in the middle of, like, this massive storm that the Empress is making. Shooting people down the street. And the parents are like, no, Sora, you must believe in the Empress. She's a good person. Despite literal evidence flying around that she's evil. And this is where I go, okay. I at first thought you were being scumbags in the beginning of the story and abused Sora for the right reasons, or not the right reasons, but like a justifiable reason. Not justifiable. What's the word? Like, you can understand why they did it. They were brainwashed by the Empress to believe that their stance in life was the right one. And they believed that the Empress was a good person. So that's the whole reason why they did such extremes to Sora. So I was like, dang, that's depressing. Now I'm just like, okay, so you're just psychopaths then. Like, actual, real psychopaths. Like, no one else in Imperium is doing what you are doing. You are the only two people who are so unreasonably devoted to the Empress and her beliefs. And now I can't take it seriously. Now I can't see anyone. Like, I can't even see the parents. Why didn't the parents go through an identity crisis, dog? They're like, whoa, the Empress is actually a scumbag and killed people. That's terrible. Like, no. They're just straight up actual murderous psychopaths. Yeah, her being like, you shouldn't have to prove your worth to your own parents. I'm like, yeah, that's a great lesson, but keep in mind, Sora's parents aren't real people. They're NPCs. And psychopaths. If you personally relate to Sora's parent situation, I'm a little concerned for you. That's all I can say. Because I don't really see anyone in real life having parents this stupid. I mean, there was an attempt. That's all I can say for this scene. As empowering as it feels like it should be, there was an attempt. So, yeah. I couldn't help but be like, wow. So, we should be concerned, I guess. More than usual. But she does the thing, she does the big thing where she, like, breaks, the Empress's gun or something. With her power. And she's like, my name is Sora! And then breaks the gun, and then the Empress gets sucked into a time vortex or something, and that's it. And I was like, what the heck? She just got sucked in, she gets zooted into another dimension. Well, a lot of people got zooted, but my question is she alive? And then, you know, obviously later down the season she is alive, and it turns out all the other people were alive. So my question is, did that really stop her? Is the Empress still a threat? Where did she go? Did we even see the Empress by the end of the season? No, because the new threat now in season 2 is going to be Jordana. Freaking Jordana. I'm like, dog, what happened to Beatrix? She just got zooted into a portal and then didn't come back, compared to everyone else who did come back. So, I was like, oh my gosh, no. We're just done with Beatrix now, I guess. She's not a villain anymore. Yay. So now we get into the, Lloyd fixing the merge. And he brings up that stupid line from that stupid scene in part 1 that I already talked about was stupid, but it's the whole Master Wu thing where Master was like, if everything around you is a storm, you must be calm. And I'm like, no, don't reference that. Not right now. Of all things to reference right now. And really, why do we need to bring that up again? Oh, yeah, and not to mention, it was fast! The vision sequence that happened the second time, the 7th element just flew right past, and we didn't see what it was. I could barely see what it was. It was just flying around. I was like, whoa, dog, that was fast. That was fast. I thought we would see it. Like, why did it happen so quickly? I don't know, man. And not only that, but he fixes up the merge problem pretty fast, too. And I was like, okay, so we're just doing what Ninjago normally does, where it quickly wraps up everything super quickly with no repercussions, no stakes or build-up or concept. It's just really freaking fast. Okay. Well, that's... I couldn't. Yeah, I don't know. And not only that, but he didn't go into a coma this time either. Last time he went to like a 5-day coma. Now he's fine. As soon as all that happens, he immediately then goes to the Source Dragon guy, even though they're at the crossroads when the merge is fixed. So, like, it's quite a bit of walking that you have to do to go back to Imperium to find that Source Dragon guy in the basement. But they go to the basement, he's like, let me free you with the power of the Spaceballs. And so he does. And that's it. The Source Dragon is now free. And he just disappears. I was like, dog, I thought you leaving your cage was gonna break reality. But all you needed was the core Spaceballs to... You know what? No. Why am I just... Oh, wait! Do you want to know something? I gotta say this. Another stupid thing that happens? Aaron, he was saving, this dog or something, and then a rift just opens up. A random rift, and his parents are just standing in the rift. They're just standing in an ethereal rift, and they like turn around and they're like, oh, and Aaron's like, Mom, Dad, and then it disappears. I was like, what the actual heck was that? What was the point of that? Were you just trying to be like, oh, that's right, Aaron has a motive as a character. He forgore about it most of this part, so we're just gonna bring it up and then leave it, and then forget about it. I was like, oh my god. And I was like,
the stupid part about that is that he doesn't tell anybody. He doesn't tell Lloyd what he saw. He doesn't tell anybody what he saw. What does this man do? A Merry Christmas. Freaking baking a bunch of pies for everybody. Absolutely ridiculous. Aaron is such a disappointment of a character. He's so flat when he could have been so much more. I wanted to love Aaron so much as a protagonist, but they freaking fouled the ball so hard. I can't do it. So then Raj shows up with Jordana, and he's like, I have a master, and we have a master plan, and we're gonna do things in the shadows. I do not care. Like, at this point in the season, I was just like, I want to be done. And that was it. That's it. Okay, so now I can finally say the thing that I wanted to say. I'm sure these 3 hours were a lot for you to take in, and enough for me to justify what I'm about to say. And I'm going to timestamp this when the stream is over, because people who haven't seen the stream, I feel like this is important. I'm going to make a post about it too. I feel like this is important as well. I'm done. Like, I don't want to watch Dragons Rising anymore. I just want to watch OG Ninjago up to where we are and be done. I don't want to watch Dragons Rising. A rating? You want a rating? I give it, 8 out of 10. Like, I can't give a solid rating, honestly. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do this. Listen. I have been with Ninjago for over, at least, I think, 9-ish years of my life. I started watching the show when Season 2 was new, so I don't really know if that math is adding up there, but I can't do this. I can't keep watching the show, getting baited for emotional beats, getting baited for OG stuff, getting just baited, and also treating Ninjago like a joke. I can't do it. And the thing is, I don't want to go out there trying to convince people that the show is bad and we need a change and the writing needs to be better, because in reality, no matter what I say, I am a small voice out of the hundreds of people who are advocating for this show and like it. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm taking that away from them either. I don't want to make people feel shameful. Again, that's what's in my mind. I don't want to make people feel like, oh, I'm ashamed for having liked this show. This show is bad. It's like, no, like, maybe this is a personal thing. I was thinking about this all throughout the week, building up to this point. I was like, you know what? Maybe this is just a personal thing. Maybe I just need to leave. And you know what? In the wise words of Master Wu, if you can't change your circumstances, change yourself. I feel like that's okay. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with not watching Dragons Rising. And I feel like I can still be a diehard fan of the show, and I don't have to keep up to date with everything that's going on. So, from this moment forward, everything that I confirmed that I'm going to make for Dragons Rising, I will make, you know? Let me see. I'm going to post the art that I have already showcased here. I will post the meme that I talked about with Agent J. I'm going to post everything that I've already made. But beyond all of that, I'm done. I don't want to continue watching the show. I don't want to keep following the show. I actually want to make more content around the OG stuff, because I noticed that most of the content on my channel is around, like, Wild Brain, and I think it would be fun to just revisit the olden days and just linger on that a little more. I'm set for life, by the way, y'all. There's already, like, 12 years of content. I'm set for life. Thank you. I was so worried about saying this too. I have been preparing myself mentally on how to say this without sounding like I'm being rude. Because, like, you know what? Anyone who is watching the stream right now, you watch Dragons Rising. Just watch Dragons Rising. My opinion on the show shouldn't dictate how you should feel about the show, in my opinion. Like, there are things that don't make sense logistically. We get it. But, like, I can see people enjoying this show. I can see it. And you know what? I'm happy for you if you do that. That's completely commendable, and I appreciate that. So just do you.
I feel like personally though, I shouldn't be forcing myself to like something that I don't want to. So whatever happens next, but I don't want to consider it canon. So I really don't want to stay up to date. I guess I'm an official Ninjago retiree of sorts. I'm not like mostly Dragon's Rising Horse. I'm gonna keep making content on Ninjago. I'm gonna keep loving and watching Ninjago. That's not gonna stop, dog. The way that the show has impacted my life, I can't give it up. But this show, I guess it's for the kids. It's for the newbies. It's not for me anymore. And you know what? I said before in the past that I wasn't okay with that, but now I am. And so here we are. So thank you guys for watching the stream. I did not finish this headshot, but I'm okay with that. At least I finished Geo. So we got Geo, Cole, and then Older Jay. I don't know when these headshots are going to be finished, but I'll try my best. But anyway, thank you guys for staying. It's been a long, arduous 3 hours, and I hope that maybe everything, all the notes that I had to say about the show was enough to kind of explain my leave, but yeah, okay. Let's end off the stream. Thanks guys for joining. I'm gonna end the stream now, so you can post your theory too whenever you want to, Jazzy. But thank you guys for coming. I personally enjoyed this stream, to be honest. I like the discussion streams, but I want to do discussion streams of like the past seasons. I want to do discussion streams of other things now, so I think that's okay. So thanks guys for joining. All right, peace. I gotta leave too.